Today I'm joined with the biggest Hunter x Hunter fan from Canada. My name is Doofy. And we also have, my name is Crash. I don't know if is your country public?
Yeah, you can say it.
The only Roboco fan from Fort. Anyway, today, this is a lot of unnecessary stuff. Today, we're going to be vibing, and we're going to be going over our favorite manga. We're going to be doing another 3x3, and hopefully they don't take us 9 hours each. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We are the Big Three Tangents. Before we do go underway, I would like to say thank you guys again, because the second episode is doing phenomenally well as well. And yeah.
I think we just hit 200 views on it, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you, everyone.
Y'all
Also,
are goated.
I don't think we have yet, so I want to shout out Trenton, just because he did the art on the profile pictures and on the banner that you guys see. I don't think we have shouted him out on
Oh, no.
the channel yet.
Oh,
Only on Twitter. So go follow him. We're going to leave a link for his Twitter profile on the description.
yes, we will.
Trenton's art was amazing. I love how he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun.
He makes us look very good. Perhaps a little too good.
Yeah,
But-
we look like this professional podcast, and then people click on our
Yeah.
episodes, and they're like, "Wait, how did they go from favorite anime to fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards for 30?"
Yeah. Unsolved
Not
mysteries,
even-
to say the least.
We weren't even started like talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! It was like Digimon or something.
Yeah, it's the best part. Yeah, it was explicitly brought up because Pokes was like, I was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh kid, not any of these other kids. So it came up through a negative. You know how we do around here.
Yeah. But yeah, today they read some manga ones. I don't know which one of you wants to start.
How about
The anime I did, so.
how about we have Crash start again, because Crash is the manga Crash, or should we say best for last?
I don't like that because I was the manga crash, so I started the anime one because I didn't have few animes. So
Then
now that it's
Pokesal
manga,
has to go first. Pokesal has to go first, then.
I'm like the least manga person here.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
only fair. It's only right. And also, as established last episode, the host will start with each 3x3 as we've set the norm. I did it first, and then Crash, and now you. It's only fair, right?
Alrighty.
So
I
light
will
us
throw it in there.
light us
I will
up.
warn you guys, I am not. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of manga, so I had to scrape between what I had.
I could probably start guessing them, and I think I'd eventually get to all of them. It's gonna be like a Silent Voice, Sundome, Bleach. I wouldn't be surprised if Zombie Powder was in there.
Sorry, Powder ain't in there.
Okay,
I
I'm
am Beast.
a little too generous, it seems, but I guarantee I got 3 of them.
Oh.
I was wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot about fucking. I forgot about Chainsaw Man. I forget you're a Chainsaw Man fan.
Yeah.
Oh, and Blue Box. How could I have? Damn, I can't believe Sundome didn't make it in here. This is tragic.
Among
I mean,
Us
especially
made
because
in.
yeah, I was gonna say.
Actually, I think Sundome was in there, and then I was like, I have to put Among Us in here.
You put it in for the meme. Damn.
Specifically
I gotta
for,
respect it.
Yeah, I mean, we're specifically doing it so that we can get roasted on Crash's server. As soon as someone hears an Among Us
Yeah.
joke.
Oh yes, true. So true, bestie.
Starting from the... Well, you know what? I'm always reverse order, so we're starting with Manga Messiah. It's the Bible, but it's a manga.
Have you read this one actually? Though?
Yes, I actually own all the
Okay.
volumes for it.
Oh, you actually.
I've been trying to get those fucking volumes for so long, and they're not that difficult to get. I always see them floating around eBay, and I really want to buy this one. Because I want to... There you go. My man, representing the Manga Messiah, in person, supporting the cause. You love to see it.
And in the first page, it's there's a picture of like anime version of like Mary saying, "I am a virgin, but how can this happen?" And it's amazing.
Lame. What do you mean amazing? It starts off with the New Testament. It skips all the good shit in the Old Testament. Boo. Bad adaptation.
No, this isn't the first volume.
Oh. Let me see volume 1.
Previous volume.
I gotta see volume 1 then.
I don't think I have, like, because they're called different things. So like That's Manga Messiah. This is Manga Majesty. It's about revelations.
Oh,
The
dope.
Messiah is the best one, though.
No, you kidding
According to
me?
you.
Oh, true,
No,
true, true. You did put Messiah in the 3x3.
Well, when I say that, I mean the whole series.
Okay.
But the Manga Messiah, we gotta just admit, Jesus is the most broken manga character of all time. He turned water into wine.
Yeah,
Pretty
super
lit.
OP.
Actually, that one guy from Beyblade was more OP because he split the Red Sea with a Beyblade.
Oh, the Moses.
Objectively
Bruh.
stronger. Well, that's
I
not
can't remember
correct.
What reminded me of that scene? But there's this scene in Beyblade where pretty much they're just like chilling and vibing, and then one guy's talking about like the power of Beyblades in history, and then a big shot of this guy using a Beyblade to split the Red Sea just shoots up.
I absolutely love that. That is
That-
fucking
wait,
brilliant.
That's real?
Yes.
That is not from the seasons I watched.
It's from like the original, like the second series of Beyblade, the second
okay.
generation Beyblade.
I've seen the second. I haven't
With
seen everything.
Ginka. Can't remember his name.
I don't know.
I remember
Yeah,
Ty.
it
I remember
was-
Kai. Does that count?
Yeah, Kai was.
Who's
But
Ty?
that was from the Kai was from the first season, right?
Yeah, he had gray hair, right? And like blue stripes?
Yeah, that's
No, I
just
thought
the
Kai
that's
was
the Sasuke.
second.
Like Sasuke is based on that guy. That's my
Yeah,
beef.
yeah, true. So who the fuck's Ty? Oh, Ty's from Digimon.
Yeah.
Sorry, it
That is
just
the main character from the first.
Yeah,
Digimon.
Kai is the first Beyblade guy. Okay. Yeah, I know who Kai is.
true.
He inspires. Yeah,
We're already talking about Digimon by the fucking way.
Yeah. Yeah, let's bring it back on course here. So, like, what's the first volume of Manga Messiah, okay? We need to know. We need to subject it to deep scrutiny and how well it represents the biblical stories, okay? This is a
The
deep...
first volume is called Manga Mutiny.
Manga Mutiny?
Yeah,
That
that's
does
the
not
first
sound
volume
like-
of Manga Messiah.
Do you own that
Does
one?
not sound like.
Can you flip to
I
the
do
first
not.
page? Boo. Boo.
Um,
Fake fan.
there's
Fake
also-
fan.
Manga Malek, then Manga Messengers, then Manga Messiah, then Manga Metamorphosis.
I thought it was only 4
That's-
volumes.
That sounds like alternative titles to my channel.
Manga
Yeah.
Metamorphosis.
And then Manga Crash is the
Manga-
6th volume.
Wait. Manga Metamorphosis.
I know what you're thinking.
You think about like the
I
manga?
don't think Doofy knows.
You don't know 018713 or wherever it is?
What?
You don't know Metamorphosis,
Like-
the Hentai.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's not
Yeah.
his reference.
That's okay. That's why I asked. That's why I said the manga question mark, and I was met with silence.
And,
Silence from the critics. They don't
we got
want to see me
Manga
winning.
I just want to say that Hentai is not as bad as everyone makes it out to be.
I think it's just as bad as everyone makes
You
it out
haven't
to
read
be.
it? I mean, bad. I mean, bad in the sense that people are like, "Oh, this is like the darkest manga I've ever read." That is what I mean. Like, it's not that
It's-
like
it's
hard to read.
Where's it go?
I just gotta disagree with that one for no other reason than hold up. I gotta kind of subject this to strict
the
biblical scrutiny. I couldn't read it, but I like.
Oh.
Theme wise, okay, it's about as deep as just saying explicit thing X happens. So it's not very thematically deep, and in that sense not very touching. But holy shit, some of like just the images, and I'm also, maybe it's because I'm like slightly squeamish about certain things about biology. Some of those panels, like in the last few chapters,
Yeah, the end.
were like visually difficult for me. Like I remember I was going to like hang out at my girlfriend's place the night I read it, and like I was nauseous like the whole like car ride there because I couldn't get the image in my head. I'm like, oh fuck. But I'm like very particular about certain like biological things for whatever reason, and so that really stuck with me, and it was to date the hardest thing to like read for that reason.
Okay. And to me it felt like, yeah, it was a dark story, but it was also trying to still be an hentai that focused a lot on the sex.
I love how we went from Bible manga to hentai. Can I just say, like, that's the most perfect line of thought ever?
Yeah, God was not there whenever that fucking guy was writing Metamorphosis. I could say that right now.
But I just feel like it is trying to be like super dark, and at the same time it's still trying to make you like have material to fap to, and those things they don't combine.
No.
Like the sex scenes are not hard to watch. They're still like super sexualized, so that's kind of why it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree, because it can never explore like the true depths of any of the themes it attempts to bring in, because at the end of the day, like, they know the reader just wants them to rush along the plot to get to like the stuff they can fap to. So there's no room to explore any of the themes. So it really has to grip you on like shock value and sex scenes, and I mean it does that. Well,
So that's
grip.
the manga about Jesus.
No, I mean, I do know what happens in Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't read it, I watched a review of it.
Yeah. Fair
So,
enough.
yeah.
But unfortunately, Manga Messiah is objectively better though. So
Well, yeah, it's objectively
Yeah.
the best manga ever, you know.
yeah.
I mean, like is the truth the way?
The beginning and
No,
the end. Omega.
ironically, I really find it interesting how Manga Messiah has branded itself. Personally, it's just an interesting read, all things considered, because it really is like a straight up adaptation, without getting like religious on the podcast. I just find it like as an interesting way to teach people about that, you know, unironically.
No, that's
Same thing. Like
yeah.
it would be like the same thing with any other religion. I would still find it fascinating, even though I am Christian. But like, I just find it fascinating on how it adapts that religion aspect into manga.
Yeah. You know,
like like I said, I'd find it interesting if like Buddhism was adapted into the manga format. So it's not just because I'm a Christian that I find it fascinating. I just find it fascinating in general.
I actually almost opposite of you. I almost always hate the child-oriented. I don't necessarily know if this was child-oriented because I haven't read it, but I hate a lot of those more kid-friendly versions of the Bible that are supposed to be like more digestible and like just kind of give you this really like heavy, obvious moral message. I normally hate those because like if you actually read the damn Bible, like the Old Testament, like they're so morally ambiguous and like dark and crazy. And I'm like, if you would have fucking read that to me when I was younger, I would have been way more interested than if you gave me like a picture book that's like Moses and the Israelites were walking across the desert. I'm like, and then it's just like moral, like laying these moral like prescriptions on you like so heavily, but there's actually a craftsmanship behind the actual Bible that is like so missing in like those kids versions. So I'm just curious as to how the Manga Messiah would handle that, because if done well, I think it could be like one of those.
I
but
think it handles it to the degree where it thinks that you're a teen reader, pretty much like a teenager. Like, I feel like because like you have to realize like this is adapting like 5 volumes of light novel into one manga volume.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, very true.
so it condenses the story still, but like I don't think it leaves the morally ambiguous stuff out. Would be my guess. I haven't read the Old Testament ones. Or the Revelations one, even though I own it. But
Yeah, I was gonna say
have read Manga Messiah.
the fact that they even adapted Revelations is like, well, it's at least a step above some of the kid stories I read when I was younger. So they would have never adapted Revelations in any of those.
I mean,
but
yeah, it doesn't really censor anything because it literally has a page of like the world being destroyed.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm into this.
Yeah.
All right, I
I
got.
kind of want to read it now.
I do too. Maybe we'll do a video where we review Manga Messiah together. We'll do the Manga Messiah
I was
podcast.
I was actually looking for a manga like that because I know that there's also like the Quran. There's a manga adaptation. I don't think it's translated, but it exists. And what I found was a manga called Let's Bible that I decided to check anyways, and it's not. it's about like a really like perverted main character who meets with Jesus Christ, but Jesus Christ is a hot anime girl, and he tries to fuck her.
What's this called?
Let's Bible.
Let's.
And then it turns out that he's like a descendant of Saint Peter or one of the other apostles.
Oh my gosh! What
Yeah,
the
it's-
heck?
Yeah.
Vulcan Maverick lives in a small fishing village in Croatia. He has only two things on his mind: designer goods and losing his virginity. When an indescribably beautiful girl shows up asking for directions to Heaven's Gate, Vulcan takes his first steps into the thrilling world of salvation action.
Yeah. That manga is so like, it's like 4 or 5 chapters. I don't know. It's really short, but it's such a dumb, wild journey.
Yeah. Interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
This reminds me of that one series. What was it called? It's pretty much. It's called Saint Young Men, where
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Jesus and Buddha move into an apartment together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
That one looks fun.
It is fun, and it actually rewards readers for knowing like actual details about both Buddha and Jesus respectfully. My issue with the series though is that like they're really nice hardcovers, and I think they might be 2 volumes, 1, I don't remember, but they took me forever to read because they're like just dialogue heavy. That's where the plot lives, right? Like it's in the quirky interactions between Buddha and this random person on the street, right? Or Jesus talking to Buddha about, you know, this or that, what's going on TV. So it's really fun, but like it was so taxing to me. I read like 1 or 2 volumes. I'm like, I gotta just put this down because this is so consuming.
Yeah.
But it really does reward you for knowing like little details about like Buddha and Jesus. Like it's really neat in that way.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, yeah. I think it's just funny. I have a lot of memes saved on it. Like, for example, one of the quirkiness is like Jesus will accidentally turn water into wine, and Buddha's like, "Oh, what the hell, dude? I was gonna drink that." So yeah, I guess it's just like it's consistently like it's weird. I feel like there's a lot of like weird mangas out there that are just like they just randomly have Jesus in them.
Yeah.
I wonder if we went on AniList right now and just typed in Jesus, how many he would appear in, or
Yeah,
if they would
I'm sure
appear
there
under, or if they would
And-
appear under different titles
Yeah,
though.
There may exist like various.
Okay, so there's a manga named Jesus, Jesus exclamation point. Another manga named Jesus with 13 volumes. Jesus X Dogs, 2 volumes. Interesting. Jesus Christ exclamation point. Oh exclamation point holy. Yeah. And there's hundreds of different characters named Jesus right now.
Yeah.
Characters.
It's kind of like even if you look like Adolf Hitler, there's a lot of
Yeah.
like manga. There's Hitler's just there.
Yeah.
Are you comparing Jesus to Hitler?
No, just how,
As manga characters, yes.
What?
dude. I didn't realize Jesus was in JoJo's. He's in Steel Ball Run.
Yeah. I've
Damn.
heard about it. I haven't gotten that part, but I've heard about it.
Alrighty. So the next manga on my second, on my 3x3
Good
is
talk.
Among Us.
Manga. It's very sussy.
Yeah, it's a very sussy pick, but it's just it's a guilty pleasure of mine. What can I say? When I read Among Us, it makes me feel whole. Like the philosophy of Among Us is just absolutely incredible. You know, like it's just basically don't be sus. You know.
And the mystery of
Yeah, the
manga's
mystery.
manga.
The mystery of who the imposter is, even though it flat out tells you in like the first page of chapter 1.
Yeah, it really gets at some thought-provoking, ancient philosophical questions like, what is the ontological status of red, and if sus is predicable of it, and such relevant questions.
Yeah, and it's just a one shot too.
Yeah.
It goes
Yeah,
like
it's
that
really-
deep into it. Like, and the
You can
character
read it like
development.
20 times a day.
Yeah,
so.
the character development of the imposter was absolutely incredible.
All right,
Like, who?
I'm now done with this joke. You guys may carry out the rest of the segment, but I must sit in silence now in firm protest against this segment.
You not like eggs on heads?
I
Alright.
just want to say though, the manga isn't actually bad. I've
No,
read
yeah,
it.
actually, unironically, I've read it too. It's not bad. It's not my top 9.
As
but
far
it's not bad.
Yeah.
as far as like, was this a Koro manga?
Yeah.
As far as, the ones you can read go that I have read, it was like solid. As far as those go.
I think the Among Us manga, this is probably a hot take, is better than the Korokoro Sonic manga.
I agree. Yeah, I 100%.
And maybe even better than the Crash Bandicoot manga as well.
It's not better, however, than the Beyblade Korokoro manga, which I did track down like 10 chapters of, so...
I kind of want to read it.
I can
The Digimon ones.
I could send you the Beyblade ones. But no idea on the Digimon ones. I didn't realize there was a Digimon one, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if it's Korokoro, but there are a couple Digimon manga.
So unironically, the artwork in the manga ain't bad. Like, it's actually like, pretty solid.
No,
Like,
Yeah.
I just love the fact that somebody had to sit down and turn Among Us into a manga. Like, just thinking about that.
Have you seen the Fortnite manga?
that's the first thing that came to my head too. Actually,
Yeah.
I
It's by the same magazine.
haven't been able to find it.
Manga?
There's a Fortnite manga, and the number of chapters, it's still ongoing. But the number of chapters that I've seen seem like ridiculous.
I haven't been able to find it. Is it translated in
I
English?
haven't. No, it's not. It's not at all.
Classic Korokoro.
But it's still ongoing. It started in 2008, in 2019, I guess, or 2018.
Yeah, I remember when it got announced. It was very, it was a quality meme for a little bit. Much like Among Us.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, Among Us will never die as a meme. It's peak meme.
Yeah, because even once it stopped being funny, the fact that it's now unfunny to some people gives me the drive to want to beat it even more, and that's where I really thrive. That area where everyone thinks it's dead, I will find a way to revive it and make it funny again.
I feel like the thing is that even though the meme kind of died, the whole thing of just recognizing things as the Among Us characters,
It's so funny. Oh
it's
my
in
god.
your head. You cannot stop doing it. I'm gonna be like 80 years old. I'm gonna be seeing like a red thing with a gray square. I'm gonna scream out loud.
Among Us!
Can I just say...
I just imagine Among Us 69 just came out, and your grandchildren, your great grandchildren are playing with it. And they're hanging out with their great grandpa, and you're just walking them to the zoo while they're playing on their phones. I mean, they're holograms, and you see the bathroom
My
timer or
kids.
something, and you're like, Among Us!
I also love that somewhere along the way, I think I sensed this. I don't know why I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I like that somewhere along the way, they all just became Among Us. Like, it's not imposter,
Yeah.
crewmate. It's just like they're all Among Us. Like Sus Among Us
Among
and
Us.
Imposter Among Us. Like, I don't know. It's just a little detail that I really like.
Yeah, I also love how like the term sus has been turned into Among Us. Like
Yeah.
the second you hear the words like sus was a meme before Among Us. And
Yeah.
people don't realize that a lot of the time.
Yeah. I'm not going
Like,
to...
What people don't realize that Among Us was actually an expression. They're like, you see somewhere someone said Among Us for any reason, it's destroyed. The Pokemon game got me like 3 times.
Oh my God.
The Arceus, because the character just says Among Us.
So for the longest time, I went to this one private school that was a Christian school in the States, and when they did their prayers, occasionally they would say something like "Among us, we are one," or like
Jesus
is among us. And every
Sus is
time it
among us.
happened,
You just say,
every
"Gee."
time it happened, like every 12th grader boy opened his eyes and all looked at each other, and dead eyes locked each other's eyes.
Jesus Among Us! That's going to be the 6th volume of Manga Messiah. Manga Among Us.
Among Us.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Anyway, third manga is Vinland Saga. Peak fiction. W. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like low key, like Vinland Saga is one of those series that is my it's top 3 out of any thing I've ever seen, and I love it. Like Thorfinn's development is crazy. The farm arc is is in my opinion, like for me, for like the best arc in anime and manga, it's between the farm arc and Thousand Year Blood War. Like those are the only 2 arcs that have any nothing comes close to those 2 arcs for me.
Strong
and not gonna
claim.
lie, a lot of the time the farm arc sometimes etches even above dozen in Blood War for me.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very
Wow.
close, but I feel like the farm arc is like when it has some of the best build up, and then for it to all climax in the final moment. I'm not gonna spoil it for the people who haven't watched because season 2 is coming out.
I haven't.
or read that
I
section.
stopped at that arc actually.
Same.
All I'm saying is if you finish the final volume of that arc, that final volume is brilliant. Like, absolutely amazing. Because it feels like every emotion, every moment in Vinland Saga had been leading to this one crucial moment in the series. And that moment is in volume 5, I think. Or 6.
Like
Really, I thought.
English volume 5,
Oh, okay.
which is volume
'Cause I was
10.
like, I've read more than 5 volumes. I don't actually know.
Yeah, the English volumes are thick. They're
Yeah, I want to buy them. Actually, I want to buy them and read them because I haven't read Vinland Saga since nobody knew about Vinland Saga.
Hey,
I also want to lay claim to that as well, okay? I just want to say I was also reading it much before the anime, okay? So recognize me as
Yeah.
well. I need to make sure I got my
we
hat
are
in that
cool.
ring.
We are cool.
It's very important to me.
I say this, but
dropped it.
that's not. That's actually not true. I feel like in the manga space, Vinland Saga was always like very, very well regarded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just not.
But like manga space
I just
doesn't
feel
matter
like-
because it's like 20 people compared to the 50 trillion people that watch anime. So that's why we are systematically pressed crash because we are manga readers. All right, Poxal gets to live in luxury, right, among his anime viewers, and then there's just me and Crash just living on the precipice of.
Sus among.
But no, I agree. Like I feel like Vinland Saga needs no defending. If you've just read it, it's some pretty quality shit. Like even having only read like the prologue, which is I don't know 8 volumes maybe, shit was awesome. Like even when I was reading it, that was like top 5 manga for me at the time.
And then you dropped it.
Well, to be fair, I dropped it because I fell out of anime and manga.
Oh,
I'll-
that's what happened with
You
me
just
as well.
never picked it back up.
Yeah. I was thinking
That's
about
exactly what happened.
I was thinking about watching the anime and then just like going ahead with the manga, but like we're getting season 2 now, so
The manga art is
Slightly,
gorgeous, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
The manga art is gorgeous. I'm slightly concerned for season 2. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna leave Vinland Saga and stop enjoying it.
Yes.
Season 2 point.
Yes.
Because for those that don't know, and this isn't much of a spoiler because it isn't now, season 2 takes a completely different direction than season 1. Season 1 is very meatheady action with still the story elements in there that makes Vinland Saga so great. But season 2 is completely character driven. It's no longer action driven. It's no longer Thorfinn does cool move anymore. You get some of that, but it is so far and in between, and it becomes so story based.
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
I can't stress how big the tone shift is. Even from like the few chapters I read of the farm arc, I'm like, they just switched it up.
It's like
And-
switching the genre.
Yeah,
basically.
like people more or less treated season 1 as a battle shonen, and if that's how they think season 2 is going to unfold, they are in for an awfully rude awakening. I'm excited actually to see how fans like the anime onlys react, especially the ones that would like stick to their battle shonen and have like Vinland Saga because it was popular anime.
I have a feeling we're gonna get a lot of people saying that season 2 is boring because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, there's gonna be so many fucking Twitter like hot take Vinland Saga season 2 is actually kind of boring. Vinland Saga kind of fell off. I'm gonna have to read it just so I can come to its defense because I don't know why like conceptually that take's already like bothering me a little bit.
Alrighty, next member of the 3x3. Wait, question, Doofy, how long have we been recording?
30 minutes.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, okay.
I thought we were at like an hour, and I was like, oh my gosh.
No, we're
Yeah.
making good pace. We've
Okay.
yeah, proceed.
The next manga on my 3x3 is Blue Box.
I feel like it's still early on for it to be on mine, but it is really good.
Huh. I mean, that's fair. I feel like, because, like, my issue when I was making this 3x3 is I really don't like praising unfinished work. Um, but as you can see on this list, I have 3 unfinished works. I think Vinland Saga is far enough to where it's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's been running for like 20 years. So I think Vinland Saga is okay. But Blue Box came out last year. And technically Chainsaw Man's ongoing for part 2, but I think part 1's done enough to where you can kind of talk about them that late. Anyway, Blue Box, in my opinion, I mean, I think I spoke about this on our protagonist 3x3. I just really love Taiki as a main character, and I like the art, and I think it's very wholesome. It's very beautiful. It's a really good romance, and Taiki has to be one of the most relatable protagonists out there. I love how he handles like his social interactions, his dynamics with every character in the series. Then it's just a fun manga with like a lot of fun stuff in it. And I will say I do think like some things could be handled better. Like they could have introduced a character to at the sports tournament for some more driving force in the series, and that would have been interesting and good. But I'm content with what we've gotten, and I love every chapter of Blue Box. Like, I've never not looked forward to Sundays because of Blue Box. Like, low-key, Blue Box is the only thing I genuinely read weekly. Like, with Black Clover, I catch up over time. My Hero Academia, I let the chapters hold up and I catch up. Same thing with Jujutsu Kaisen. But Blue Box is one thing that I just can't wait for. I just have to read it once a week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think one piece of praise I'll issue towards it is, I guess, the way it uses sports. Because unlike a lot of other sports manga, especially for like this kind of demographic, it does take the time to kind of lay out the rules of the sports, and then it kind of goes into the detail of the game itself. But I think here, and this is a praise I'll give to something on my own list, it doesn't ever just like shovel in rules about like badminton or whatever, or about basketball. It just kind of uses it as a kind of plot device to kind of drive different characters along as a way for these characters to express their emotions like in their games, little things like that, without ever just like bogging the reader down with exposition about how to play fucking badminton. So I think that's something it does very well. In that sense, it's sports, but the sports, I think, kind of, it goes as far as to just be like a setting for like these things to happen, but never really the focus of the manga, which I like. So it really does just feel like a romance front and center more than a sports manga, which I don't know why I had to make that point, but maybe it's because deep down I'm so adverse to sports manga, because I just imagine that they're all like, this is how you play football. These are all the rules. Oh my god, look at him. He's doing a double dog dare front flip down the aisle, and he's going to throw the ball. Oh, touchdown. Like, I'm just worried that every sports manga is like that. So I need to, like, for the good sports manga, I need to make sure they're not really sports manga. But
I feel like that's a big problem, because like either they'll assume that you know too much about the sport. I mean, too little, but like they assume that you know everything about the sport already, or they assume that you know nothing about the sport.
Yeah,
Rarely it's the in between. I think Haikyuu does a great job being the in between. What Haikyuu does is it gives you that action, the fast-paced characterization, the fast-paced character-driven story, and then it just slowly etches in small pieces as the episodes progress through season 1 of information that you need to know, like what is a setter. They don't do that until they get into like the first episode with like how they're practicing their sets, or like what is I think a libero is what they're called, if I remember correctly. Like that wasn't like even touched upon until like episode like 6 or 7, and that's like one of the key 5 positions in the series. So it does like the perfect in between, where it doesn't assume that you know much about volleyball, but it also doesn't assume that you already know volleyball. It doesn't throw it in your face all the rules and like make it like a rule list. It makes it still an entertaining story while still explaining the rules enough to where you can follow along.
I feel like that's kind of like the best way to explain the rules. But I sometimes see like the sports where they don't explain the rules. Like I never seen a baseball manga where they actually tell me how to play baseball. And I'm not American. I don't know how to play baseball. I had to learn how to the rules just so I could read manga. like Rookies, which is a manga that I absolutely love. It's not my 9x9, but it is a manga that I absolutely love. It focuses a lot on like the delinquents, because it is about like this baseball team that was kind of ruined because most of the elements were delinquents, and they didn't care about playing the sport. They just cared about using the stadium and wherever to do delinquent stuff. And throughout the manga, we learn the manga is more so about them learning to love baseball and actually wanting to play the sport instead of just being there just to ruin their lives. And not so much about the sports, but there's so much like sports in there, and they don't explain you the rules. So whenever we get to an actual full game, it's like I love this manga till this point. I still love it because you get the hype, you get like the cool moments and everything, but I have no fucking idea what's happening.
That's fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very problematic.
Yeah. It's an issue that you have to run into, but like Shonen face the same issue, like with explaining their power system sometimes. Like Hunter.
JJK is another one.
JJK.
Let's not let JJK off the hook because it's new and popular, alright, folks? We're fucking hammering down on JJK on this podcast too, damn it.
So bad. Just, in that regards, I don't like it.
And I will say this, like despite all the members of the big three having their own issues, I feel like they
except Naruto
a lot. Especially Naruto.
Except Naruto. It's actually flawless.
Actually, no. I think One Piece is the worst pacing, so I can't say especially Naruto.
I feel like Bleach is the best in terms of like, even if you don't understand the power system, you can still enjoy
yes.
battles.
In my opinion, well, yeah, because of the way that Bleach handles its fights from a non-technical level for the most part, with a few exceptions. Well, quite a few exceptions, but yeah. I feel like with those three, the power systems are simplistic enough and taught to you in such a better way than they are in like Hunter x Hunter and like Jujutsu Kaisen.
I would just briefly contest the simplicity about Naruto, only because once you get into like the Kekai Tosens and shit like that, and like the 3-element like Keki Genkais, like that shit just kind of gets bonkers.
What I mean though is the way it teaches you is it does it over like a vast amount of time, and so because of that, it makes it simplistic to understand. Because Naruto is really dumb, so so they have the excuse of when they're explaining Naruto, Kishimoto can throw in exposition for his power system. It's actually great. I think the way Kishimoto handles his exposition is absolutely incredible, because we as the viewers expect Naruto to be dumb when it comes to books based off of what we've already seen in the series. So, oh my gosh, God, it's Naruto.
It's okay, just continue. This is a good point, yeah.
So we as viewers know how dumb Naruto is, because he hates books, he hates reading. He's not dumb as in like a friendship level or a being able to understand other people level, but he's dumb in the sense is like the book smart sense. So that means like people like Jiraiya, people like Kakashi have to dumb things down to him, helping us as the viewers understand it as people that aren't a part of their world. So I think the way that Kishimoto handles his exposition is absolutely brilliant.
Cool. Okay. I thought you were just
tries to do that as well, but not as well. I feel like it still does it well enough, but it's like a lot of times it feels like Luffy doesn't really care about the actual lore. So we don't we get like these over explanations about stuff that people like who care about lore get and understand and everything, but Luffy doesn't. Like Luffy, whenever there's an exposition, you sometimes like catch Luffy sleeping in the background. He doesn't give a shit.
With me, like for my series Bleach, I think there are times when exposition is done very well, but then there's other times where it's like, here's the abilities of my opponent, here's how you defeat my ability. Okay, now I will do that very thing that you just told me to defeat your ability. Like with like Rose versus Mast, for example. Rose uses this absolutely broken bankai that abuses, like, if you hear it, you like get these illusions. And Rose is like, yeah, this ability works because you can hear it. So the first thing that Mask does is break his eardrums.
It's so good though. I think like it only hurts.
Bleach is simple. It kind of is simple in the battles, I feel, and that's kind of like the best part of the fights. It's like it's really fun. It's really enjoyable.
It makes it so that pacing, so there are pros and cons to Bleach's fights in that area. Like, because it keeps things simple like that, it makes it so that the pacing of the fights is really good. Like, the fights are being bogged down by like this one character thinking for 5 chapters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the other end, it does feel somewhat unrealistic to have your opponent explaining their abilities to the other opponent.
Yeah.
And but I think the thing that fixes it is the fact that for Bleach, the fights are more so good because of their emotional impact and the meaning behind them, not so much from the technicality perspective. I mean, there is some still good technicality, like Baragon versus Haichi, or Renji versus the Xyloporo Grands, like when he wrapped himself around Grands and then used a Keto spell to like trap him. Like, that was like some genius technical like fight right there.
Can I just...
even though the fight, in my opinion, isn't that great.
Can I just say, like, this is why I'm really excited for the 1,000-Year Blood War anime, because I think that's where Bleach peaked in terms of like technicality of fights.
Same.
Like Ichibei versus Yuhaba was like my favorite fight in that series, just like on a pure fight based understanding. Like, it's just so cool. Like, the big palm comes up and then it's like he's rushing over, and it's like I feel like there's some actual strategy going on here, and they don't bore you with like Yuhaba saying, I'm gonna do this and this and this. My week, like, it's noticeably not making all those mistakes again. It's very like you're just watching and figuring out what's going on, and it's so nuts, and I love it.
I feel like the arc that had the biggest problems with like power explanations and stuff was definitely Arrancar. And I feel like Kubo saw that and he kind of learned from his mistakes with 1,000-Year Blood War. Like, it's still in 1,000-Year Blood War when Kubo needs to quicken the pacing. Like with Rose, for example, versus Mask, he needed to fasten the pacing because he already planned for Renji to take out this guy. You know, another great example I think of technicality is Aizen and Ichigo versus Yubak. Like, as much as people like to dogpile that fight, like, they are literally standing there strategizing on the fly with each other. Aizen's using his Kyoku Sugetsu, matching with him knowing that Ichigo can't see the illusions that he's presenting, so he's using it, and Ichigo knows he's using it, because you watch is seeing Aizen as Renji. So, like, it's like this level of genius that's just at play that's, like, really great, in my opinion. But yeah.
And that's why Blue Box is a great romance.
Yes.
Because it never shovels any. Because the main characters was never saying, "This is my weakness in the badminton match."
And it's all about
low key. That's kind of what the only thing that it does. Like the main character goes, "This is why my match is important because of this, and this," and then we cut away to the ending of the match and we understand like all the emotions without having seen the match. Which is really good for a non-sports manga, because I don't consider Blue Box to be a sports manga.
Yeah.
Because it skips the sports, and I
except like this last chapter. This last chapter, I feel like it like went more into sports.
Yeah, but it's still more focused on like the character. I mean,
yeah.
I don't remember if I saw the last chapter or the one before, but it's focused more on like the characters watching and still like the emotions and what the match meant.
And like what it means to Taiki as a character. I feel like the good thing about Blue Box is it has the emotions of a sports manga.
Without having the sports.
Without having to like show the scenes of the sports. AKA the part that I really don't care for.
It sounds like you like Blue Box for the same reason you like Bleach fights. Interestingly.
Yeah.
I think the reasons like align perfectly. So it all adds up.
Exactly.
Blue Box kind of reminds me that's gonna sound like super left field. Ping pong. Ping pong does show the matches, but ping pong is like 100% about like what does matches mean to the character, not so much about the fight, the matches themselves. And that Blue Box in that aspect reminds me of ping pong.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, to the left of Blue Box, I think we're sitting at almost like an hour now. To the left of Blue Box, we have Takapi's Original Sin. Takapi's Original Sin is a very quick read, very short. I think it's only 16 chapters.
15, I think. It's around that, 2 volumes. Yeah.
Okay, so 15 or 16. And I feel like I have some issues with Takapi's Original Sin, but the issues go around the corner when it comes to the emotional impact of it. Because, like, from chapter 1 alone, it just feels like it has this aesthetic to it. Like, this very dark, looming aesthetic. And, like, it's so weird because this one, like Takapi is such an adorable, like, creature, you know? And he brings, like, this adorableness, but then, so you're not expecting anything bad, and then you just see, like, this helpless girl that's, like, has, like, this morbid aesthetic of what's going on at home. And, like, even when, like, wait, Doofy, have you read Takapi's Original Sin?
Mm-hmm.
So have you, Crash?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm just gonna say, at the start, it takes a very dark twist very, very quickly. That's the spoiler-free section of this. Now, skip like 4 or 5 minutes because now I'm in spoilers.
We may put the timestamps there on the chapter things.
Mm-hmm. So, chapter 1, reading through it, I found Takapi's Original Sin because of Super Eye Patch Wolf. He was covering like his manga video, so I clicked on it. And going from like something that's so like calming, you know, to where she's literally hanging and you see her body hanging, has to be like, it's some real dark stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, she just killed herself. Like, and you can see it coming too, because as the dog dies, and then as she goes to Takapi and she's like, oh, I could make a use for this, we're all thinking in the back of our heads, is she gonna end her life here? Because of what she said when she told him, like, hey, if I lose my dog is my reason for still living, like, and all that. And I guess, like, that part of it was brilliant. Not brilliant in the sense that she ended her life. I don't mean it like that. But, like, brilliant in the sense is, like, how it emotionally tugs your strings. Now, Takapi continuously goes back in time. He's this happy creature, but he's just learning about how miserable her life is.
Mm-hmm.
Then comes the headache part of the series, which is the next 10 chapters after you get through the first 5 or 6. To say the next 10 chapters are confusing would be an understatement. I've reread this series about 2 or 3 times now, and sometimes I still struggle with what exactly happened. It's still good, like, don't get me wrong, and I love how it goes into the multiple perspective thing, because it goes into this girl that was absolutely horrible to her, but you see why she was horrible to her. It doesn't justify the fact that she was horrible to her, but young kids are very impressionable on what's going on at home. So, like, if their parents are fighting, it affects on how they treat other kids. She treated this girl like trash. When we initially saw this girl, like, I think a lot of us want this girl to, like, not die, of course, which is what happens, but, like...
Yeah, I feel like we all want to punch her in the face.
Exactly. We all wanted to punch her, throw her in prison, and, like, not let her out. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? But then you learn, when she accidentally gets killed in the manga, spoiler alert again, Takapi becomes her and starts to go home. And you see some, like, the abuse start to show, the parents starting to show, everything going on as Takapi, like, doesn't understand what's happening or why she's getting hit or anything. And everything starts to really unravel itself in a way, if you know what I mean. Like, and you start to feel bad for this person that you wanted to hit, almost forgetting about what happened, what she did to this girl. You know what I mean? And then it skips to, like, the ending part where the whole twist happens, and it's like, it's very confusing, but I still think it's very good. And to accomplish all these emotions in 2 volumes is incredible, and this is the manga that really made me decide that I want to try Pun Pun, because from what I heard, it has some similar tones to Pun Pun,
Yeah,
from some
definitely.
people. So it kind of makes me want to see what Pun Pun's all about, because this made me flat out depressed. Like this manga, like it made me like it hit me emotionally very hard when I saw everything.
Maybe if I understood it more, it would hit me the same way. I think this would benefit from a reread on my behalf because, like, I think I agree. Like, those first 6 chapters are set up wonderfully. Where I think, as Crash said last time, it really takes like the Doraemon kind of aesthetic and like just turns that on its head. And so you get like this nice juxtaposition where you have those scenes with the Taco P that are even like paneled, like really kid friendly, like explaining like this little gadget, what it does, and then you just have that contrast with like this girl who like just hung herself, right? So I think the kind of creepiness maybe that kind of creates in the tension between those two things, it's really wonderful. That plus again the way that it tries to flesh out the perspectives of the various characters to fill out the story more. I think it does those two things wonderfully. But there are just some kind of not paneling, but just approaches to exposition that I take issue with later on. Maybe it's just a me issue, not understanding it better, but that's why I think this would benefit from a second read at least.
Yeah, definitely a second reread helped like me understand everything a little more, but it's like still slightly confusing to me. I think it would have benefited from being like 3 volumes instead of 2, maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit longer.
Yep.
Just to let some things get loose, and because I feel like some of the stuff was a bit too fast paced around the second half of the manga. One thing I will say is I do really like the so with Marina, I think her name is just, I don't know, just how things kind of twisted and turned with her character was really interesting. And I also liked the kid. But what was really confusing to me, and something that I initially disliked but learned to like eventually, was the main character, the girl.
Don't know the name.
Yeah. Not happening.
You know who I'm talking about though.
Yeah.
Her reaction when Marina gets killed.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like at first I didn't really like it at first because like I was a little like I understood why she felt that way, but like it just confused me a little bit. Like, okay, so
It is
she's
really
gonna
twisted.
become like this villainous character, you know? But yeah, and then
Yeah,
like
I actually like that aspect of the
I
more
do
you
like
go
it
through the
now.
story, the more you realize that she isn't just also that innocent as you may think she is at the beginning of the series. She's not just like you get why you kind of get why the two characters behave how they do, but they're not none of them are 100% morally right. I guess in reaction that they do as well.
yeah, is Crash the Robot for you?
Yeah,
too?
Crash, you went on robot mode for a second there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It may be because it's raining outside and maybe ruining like my internet connection. Did you get what I said though, or not?
Yeah.
Really?
I
Okay.
think I got it.
I think
Am
so.
I better now?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay. So I just
Way
wanted
better.
also to add, like, chapter 1, like, it ends with that very dark scene. But honestly, I thought like I was expecting already that to happen, and I've seen it happening on another manga and also on another video game series that I'm not going to reveal because I don't want to spoil neither. But it is a scene that happens that I've seen it happen multiple times, exactly the same way. And I, like with the other two, they really hit me because it was a slow build up. With this one, it really wasn't, and I was already expecting it, so I thought wasn't going to affect me. But the way the first chapter goes about it, it still felt like such a punch in the throat. So
Exactly.
I gotta
I feel like
appreciate
it's
that.
because like as the readers, like we're really hoping like he can make this little girl happy, you know?
Yeah.
Because like the way that she's set up to be like in this like whole miserable life, like she's been bullied at home. I mean, she's been bullied by her friends. Her father abandoned her, and all these little things, and she just desires to have Chappie and her dad too a bit. And then for like the scene where her dad doesn't even recognize her, like it just really tugs on your heartstrings because eventually you realize like she's going, she's becoming bad. Like eventually, like it goes from you feeling just bad for her to realizing, okay, there is some morbid stuff going on. Like I think it starts when Marina dies. Like at first, like you're like, yeah, Marina like made her life a living hell, but still, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I kind of like that reaction because it kind of shows like this development with like this poor girl, and then like one final thing is like how the ending went. It felt like such a twist, like with Marina being the first person that was visited by Takapi,
Yeah.
and then Takapi goes back to kill her, not Marina, but the other girl. And things, it turns out that then Takapi wants to save this other girl. My only question, and the only thing that I'm confused on with this story is if eventually the main girl gets with Azuma, the guy, and then that makes Marina very angry. Is it in the original timeline? Doesn't the main girl end her life without Takapi's intervention?
Yeah,
So
I
then
guess she does.
How does like this girl from the future end up with Azuma if she's supposed to end her life without Takapi doing anything?
I don't know. I you'd be the most.
That's the
better
question
person to answer that because you've read it multiple times. I've only read it once.
That is a question I would pose to you.
My only guess is because maybe some of the things that Takapi did for her led to this situation happening, or Chappie dies. And in the original timeline, Chappie doesn't die, so it's Takapi going.
I guess
there
so because
Chappi's death.
because they get more pissed at her. I don't remember why exactly, but I feel like Taco Peas was part of the reason.
Yeah.
I'd have to reread it.
Yep.
Yeah, same. I'd have to reread it with that plot question in mind, you know.
Yeah. Someone in the comments gonna let us know.
Somebody in the comments is like, you guys are wrong! This is like the 180th reason why this all works. And I totally understand this because I've read this manga 82 times.
I'm somehow skeptical there's somebody that passionate about Taco P. I've already kind of assigned POXAL'S the role as the Talk OP guy. By a considerable margin. Yeah, I don't imagine Taco P has stands like that.
I'm a stan of Takapi. I'm hoping that they release like a movie for Takapi.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. I hope they make a brand called Tacos P.
I'm just like waiting for the volumes to get in English release.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think there's one that I think they're planned. I'm just waiting for it because I'm gonna buy pre-order them.
Cool.
For sure, because I just love the volume covers. Anyway, next series.
Hey, we didn't tangent.
Yeah.
We did actually talk about Taco P the whole time, so.
Yeah. I just love Takapi. Everything Takapi. The next series is Bleach. We're not gonna get into this one. I mean, we kind of already did talk about Bleach earlier and why I love it by explaining why I love Blue Box. But Bleach and Blue Box copied story? Question mark. Same story.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But anyway, as you guys know, we're going to be doing an episode on each member of the Big Three, so you'll learn why I love that and why that's on my top 9 manga in that video, in that episode. So we'll just skip Bleach altogether, especially because I think we just hit the hour mark.
Yep.
So, yeah, we got to get through these. Somali in the Forest Spirit. Beautiful story about a girl named Somali. Very adorable. With a golem that she named Dad. So Dad and Somali are in this morbid world where humans are almost extinct. And they are journeying around the world where monsters all want to eat humans. But humans are extinct now, or heavily endangered. Originally, Somali was like this, she was captured in this cage, but she escaped the cage. And the golem found her and started to take on this role as Dad. The golem eventually learns like how to have emotions because the golem is like this emotionless, unhuman being. Think of like one of the reasons why I love Somalia and the Forest Spirits. It's like the story of Ukiora, or like the story of Miriam in an anime, and it's good.
Technically, it's
Ukiora is
already in
good.
an anime.
It's like its own anime and slash manga. By the way, I've read both and I watched the anime. I originally watched the anime. That's why I say anime. I actually prefer the manga though. The manga got canceled due to well, it ended abruptly because of the mangaka's health problems. But it's absolutely beautiful art wise. The world is gorgeous and the world is massive and big. And dare I say, I think the world, if it had continued, it would have been better than One Piece's world. Like, genuinely, because of how big and vast this world was, and like the details, the integral details that the author put into each city, each different place, and every tiny thing. It was magnificent. I just wish the author could have finished Somali.
Oh, how long is it?
It's only like 35 chapters, 38 chapters.
I'm gonna check it out. I haven't actually even heard of this manga
I haven't either.
until this point.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is some real Poxal core shit for real.
Yeah, exactly. Voxel exclusive manga.
Yeah. I mean, it has its ups and downs through the series, but one core element is the world around Somali is a terrible one. Humans deserved what happened. Well, they didn't deserve what happened to them. They got pretty much massacred. But they pushed the monsters around despite being weaker.
Yeah.
So the monsters bit back, pretty much. And it goes through all this very well. And I just love Somali's little story. Like, how innocent she is as a girl, and how she doesn't really understand the fact that everyone around her wants to eat her alive. If they knew that she was a human being. But yeah. To the left of Somali and the Forest Spirit, we have a silent voice. I think we kind of already covered this in the last episode on why I love a silent voice. So
I think we've talked about a sound voice like every episode so far.
Yep.
yeah. So I'm not gonna go into depth. I love it. Love the characters. Every character's peak fiction. Story, every chapter's peak fiction. Everything in the story is peak fiction. Anyway, moving on to the left one, we have Chainsaw Man, which we have also talked about.
Have we?
Last episode.
I mean, we can talk about. I don't mind. I feel like we both have like protagonists and antagonists. Me and you from Chainsaw Man. Yeah.
I mean,
so
I'm guessing Chainsaw Man's in Crash's list. So if you guys want, we can just wait till we get to Crash's list, and I can talk.
I'm fine with it, but yeah, it is. Just spoiler.
It's just peak fiction.
Yeah.
He's a man with chainsaws.
Just got the volume 5 today.
He wants melons.
Yeah. Just touching some tits.
Mm-hmm.
It's a noble cause.
Alrighty. Doofy or Crash? Who wants to go next?
I mean, I can go. I
Okay.
don't mind. Let me just drop it here. Because I don't actually remember half of my 3x3. So I'm going to look at it and be like, oh shit, shouldn't have put that in there.
Well, I mean, like, I looked at mine, I was like, oh shoot, I like a series that should be here, and it isn't. It was Spy X Family. Wanted to put that in there.
Okay, so there's mine.
One Piece.
Yeah, put One Piece. Wow, amazing.
Where's Roboco?
Yeah, Roboco sadly is not.
The biggest
Or my
disappointment.
Yeah.
Damn.
Actually,
Fake
like
fan.
I hate Roboco so much because of the hate. I don't actually. It's like a 7 out of 10 to me.
Allegedly.
It's mid. It's mid.
You've just been coerced into giving it that score because you couldn't deal with the backlash.
Yeah.
You know it's peak fiction, damn it.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Best manga ever. Okay. I think
world building beats One Piece.
Can I just say really quickly,
One Piece.
I love that, like, for whatever reason, One Piece has just become the standard for world building. That, like,
I mean,
Any-
there is a reason.
anytime you want to say something good about world building, period, it's always like It's better than One Piece. That's always whenever you say world building, it's always One Piece is involved somehow. You don't even gotta be talking about One Piece. One Piece comes in there. And it reminds me of a tweet actually that someone, I don't remember who it was, but it was like a Sanji versus Zoro comparison, and it was just to say that Sanji's better, and then somebody quote retweeted, and I can't remember who it was. You guys might have saw it too. This is like very old now, but it's like every time Sanji does something good, y'all got to compare him to Zoro in some way. So Zoro is the standard. You're always going back to him. So it's like, what does that really say? What are you really thinking? That says a lot more than you saying Sanji better. And that comment, whoever made it, that lives with me. So, because I see it everywhere now.
Lauren or Sensei. I feel like I've seen that with.
I absolutely. It was like Tron. It was Sensei. It was one of those guys.
It was Tron. It was Tron.
Was it Tron? Okay, I kind of thought so. That shit stuck with me.
I mean, yeah, I do think though, like, because like I feel like One Piece is like universally agreed upon to be like a very good at world. I don't think it's the best at world building, but I think it's very, very good at world building. So because of that, it's a good comparison to make, because it's like when you're in a discussion with someone, you need to have common ground if you're gonna make any segue or any comment, if that makes sense. So one thing that is a pretty common belief is that One Piece's world building is amazing. So it's a good common ground to start with by like using One Piece as the comparison. So it is me praising One Piece by using that as the common ground. I just think Somali could have been better with world building.
True.
My problem with that is that it's almost like that's the only reason why One Piece is agreed upon as good. It's like it's good because it has good world building, and it's like there's so much more to One Piece. Of course, the world building is amazing, but there's so much more to One Piece than just the world building, and people just don't care.
That's become like a symptom of like the way we talk online, because it feels like the big series are just associated with something. Like One Piece is good world building, Naruto is good fights, Bleach is something. Hunter x Hunter is good power system.
Bleach falls off after Soul Society.
But like these are like literally like there's just like a popular anime that embodies some specific like trait or category we use to evaluate things. It's so weird. And like that becomes its whole identity. Like Naruto just is fights. Hunter x Hunter just is power system. One Piece just is world building. And like it's so crazy because like what the fuck are you even saying? Like I've already done the video, but like what the fuck is good world building? Is it the world being built or how they're building it? And which aspect? Is it the actual architecture or the lore? Is it like the history of the political movements? Is it like the greenery? Is it the animals that fill that world? Like, Dan, you say nothing when you say that shit.
I think like One Piece, that's the thing. It's everything. All of that is One Piece does it well. That's why it's so kind of like remarkable.
Allegedly. One Piece is yet to go to court on these claims, and I will be the judge. Actually, I'll be the prosecutor against it, damn it.
And then I'll be the judge, and I'll rule against your favor. Anyway,
against? I think Bleach got better world building, but
I'll be Phoenix Wright.
Fine, whatever.
I unironically actually agree with you, Doofy.
I disagreed, but I was trying to bait you to say it. But it's crazy because, as you'll imagine, I also think Naruto has better world building than One Piece, so... It's like, who would have thought I like the world of my favorite series more than this series that I don't like nearly as much?
No, but I think like people just don't understand. I think very few people can like actually define what they mean when they say world building.
And I agree. I endorse this statement. This statement has been endorsed by My Name is Rufy. I mean, my name is Narufi. That's not a good way to shorten that at all.
You know, there was a comment on the last podcast I meant to bring up at the start. I read it the like just moments, not like an hour before we started recording. Somebody completely missed the point I was making in the last podcast.
Fleur.
Yeah. Oh, Fleur. Yeah. Completely missed the point I was making, and like try to cite me as like somebody who's over analyzing something when like my whole point was like if you're like. So often people lose their will to enjoy something. Like, that was the point I was making in that podcast. That people are so concerned with how deep something is, or how critically good, whatever that is supposed to mean, something is, that they forget that the most important thing about media is enjoying it. Yeah, and then they were like, how ironic because you over analyze Bleach all the time. I wasn't saying that you shouldn't analyze stuff. If you find that fun, then go ahead. It's just, If that's getting in the way of your enjoyment, then that's a problem. You see, I've read Bleach so many times that the best way I can have fun with Bleach now is by analyzing it. But yeah, just wanted to put that thought out there. Like, because like if he had listened to the or she, I don't know.
He.
I think
He.
Okay. If he had listened to the, I know he probably listened to the whole podcast, but if he had listened to what I was saying in section, I make it painfully obviously clear what I'm talking about, and how like my problem is when people stop enjoying things. Because I literally think I say in that same podcast, like, I'm not saying you can't analyze stuff or you can't be critical of stuff. Like, that is one of the most fun things about loving media. The problem is when that's your only personality trait, that's the only thing you care about, that's when the problems arise. And especially when you start placing that above, like, when you start caring about other people disagreeing with you. That's one of the reasons why I tweeted my last tweet, where I just don't give a crap if somebody's gonna, like, disagree with my analysis on something, or trash on Bleach as a series, because one, Bleach isn't who I am. I am my own individual. My analysis is my own perspective on the series. You can completely disagree with what I find to be foreshadowing. That's completely fine, you know. I find it to be foreshadowing, and that's all that matters to me. I like this world. You not liking this world or not thinking this is foreshadowing doesn't affect me. I'm just analyzing and stating my opinion on the internet for fun and entertainment. And also getting paid for it, technically. But yeah.
Profit motives.
$20 a month. Yeah.
But yeah, just wanted to put that out there because I wanted to say something officially on the podcast, and I forgot to say something at the start. So yeah, let's just begin on Crash's list. Unless you guys want to say anything.
No.
Okay.
Let's start with the bottom like you did, because that's Chainsaw Man as well. So that's where your list ended. That's where mine begins. And yeah, I just feel like we can kind of skip it because we've talked a lot about Chainsaw Man.
I don't have such vivid memories. When were we talking about? Oh yes, we were talking about Makima being the bleep.
Yeah, we talked about Makima. We talked about Denji. But yeah, just overall, I feel like I've read like 100 something Shonen Jump manga. Well, not 100 something, but close to 100. I'm counting because I want to do a video when I reach 100. But I'm close. And there's only like 2 manga of Jump that I've rated a 10 out of 10. One of them is of course One Piece.
Boo.
And the other is Chainsaw Man. It's just like Chainsaw Man is such a fucking well run. It's like so fun. It's dumb in some ways. It's very fast. It's very like aggressive at times. Like the slice of life part of it, which I hope we get more of it in part 2, and I think we're gonna get more of it in part 2. I mean, it just works so well because all the characters are just completely insane. I don't know. This is like a thing you're gonna see on more of my 3x3. Actually, I'm not sure if there's many more. Well, 2 or 3 more. But yeah, it may not be like the best manga technically. Like the world building is not as like well developed as like One Piece or Bleach or Naruto or whatever.
One Piece.
I don't think it is. Like yeah, but the world building of
Chainsaw Go.
No, the world building of Chainsaw Man is just like, yeah, there's demons, and sure, there's
Devils.
like various kinds of demons.
Devils.
And ways demons, yeah, devils. Sorry, the way the devils can interact with humans and become humans, and like the way that fear affects them and they be stronger or whatever. But it's not like that deep, and you're just left with this wonderfully crafted story of Denji, essentially. That's all in all. Like that's just what Chainsaw Man is the story of like Denji learning what it feels to actually have things and care about things and how it feels to like have goals and just be human in general. I don't know. It's just like Fujimoto is amazing. I feel like even Fire Punch is such a wonderful story of love and religion and the meaning of life, essentially, because Fire Punch is like about this character who doesn't want to live and he just does it because he's been told to. And of course, like it's a battle manga about a guy who's always on flames and punching like the wizards or whatever on the face. But at the end of the day, it's all about that. And I felt like how Fujimoto is able to do like such like philosophical manga, and at the same time like just dumb fun in the same stuff, just amazing. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Chainsaw Man.
No, I mean, like I said, I totally agree with you, like, with all that. I really like it because, like, it tells, like, all these different smaller stories, too, though, of different characters. Like, Aki finding his new true family. Makima always wanting that personal relationship, but she can never, like, have that personal relationship. Like, I think it's, like I was concerned initially with Chainsaw Man because it was only, it was under 100 chapters. And, it, like, but, like, it accomplishes so much, and it does so well with those 97 chapters. It's almost insane to think about. Like, I don't know a single other manga out there that does what Chainsaw Man was able to do in 97 chapters for me.
That's also because Chainsaw Man isn't based on manga. You can kind of tell that Fujimoto is. I don't even know if Fujimoto reads manga. I'm 100% sure he only watches movies and he knows how to draw.
Yeah,
because
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying other fast-paced stories haven't been good, you know? Like, I'm just saying, like, Chainsaw Man somehow fits so much in 97 chapters.
Yeah.
And and although it still has this fast pace in it, it still feels whole. It still feels finished. A lot of the time when things are, like, super fast-paced, they don't feel whole. They don't feel like they're working. But Chainsaw Man does. And that's what makes Chainsaw Man incredible for me. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say, Doofy?
It's all right. I gotta balance out.
Chainsaw Man fan only when we're not here.
Yeah, I gotta balance out the heat. Let's just say, like, listen, that second half way too fucking fast. That actually gotta slow down. It's like, it takes like 50 chapters and it just has like a couple fights. I mean, come on, man, you gotta build your world or something. I don't know. I have nothing to say on Chainsaw Man right now.
Have you read Fire Punch though?
No, but I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking long and hard about doing so recently.
It's so good, but the thing about it is that the ending of Fire Punch is also like super fast paced.
Oh, I never finished Fire Punch. I read like the first 4 chapters.
It's
so good.
It's of comparable length, isn't it?
Yeah, it's shorter. It's like 8 volumes.
Yeah.
But like the ending, just like if you think like the ending of Chainsaw Man is insane, the ending of Fire Punch is insane. It's one of the most insane things I've ever read. It's like especially that last chapter.
Yeah. Okay. Noted. I do actually want to check it out once I'm back. I don't know if I even made the official proclamation to you guys, but I did pick up One Piece again after our last podcast, and I finished Dressrosa. Yeah, I was tweeting about it a little bit. It was good. I'm glad I did it. This was a good decision.
Yeah, it's a good arc.
Yeah, so I'm back. I'm snapping back into shonen mode again. So who knows? Fire Punch could be on the plate any day now.
Yeah, I should check it out. I read Fire Punch. It was the day like me and my girlfriend were on the day off, and we couldn't go anywhere. I don't remember why. And she binge watched like the entire TV show. I don't remember what TV show it was, but I was just like sitting near her, just reading all of Fire Punch. I read it all in one go. So good.
Oh, okay. Maybe
like 6 or 7 hours, but yeah.
Okay, no, I mean I like that. I like things that are like shorter, fast-paced. This could be another good one for Tad to the repertoire.
And yeah, on the side of that, it's Memories of Amanon or Homeway to Amanon, which I've also talked a little bit about on the first episode of the podcast because I've talked about Emanon, and honestly, like the manga is Emanon. The manga is a story about like this guy who meets Emanon and just like, okay, she just gets to know her, and then the manga ends essentially. So, I think I've talked all that I wanted to talk about it then, but it is such a beautiful manga, and it's such a short manga as well that if you haven't read it and you have like 20 minutes, just do it. There's like absolutely no reason not to. So, yeah.
Yeah, given like its relative short length, it's like your time is better spent just reading the damn thing than listening to us praise it for that 20 minutes, right? So
Yeah,
I need to read it.
Yeah, my problem with Emanon is with talking about Emanon is that always like I can go into detail about what it is, but there is really no point. You can read in like 20-30 minutes, and I don't know, I just love it a lot. So just check it out. That's my argument.
It is your profile picture, like everything.
Exactly. Yeah. In almost, I feel like in everything. Animalist is Emanon, Analyst is Emanon, Rate Your Music is Emanon. If you see a guy on the internet with an Emanon profile, it's
So is Eminem your favorite story of all time?
It's not my favorite story, but Emanon is my favorite character. That's
Okay.
That's the difference.
So, second question. Is the big three Bleach, Naruto, and Eminem?
It should be.
no,
It should be.
the big
What
three.
spanned for a year?
The big three, okay, is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Bleach, Taco P, Blue Box, Dragon Ball Z, Hunter x Hunter, Mean Roboco, and Emanon. It's the big three.
I like a
Hunter and Lucio.
Oh, you're right. I gotta replace Bleach with Hunter x Hunter.
yeah.
Just
So
replace Bleach with zombie powder.
Yeah, that's on the timeline where we're replacing them with each of the authors' other series. We're not in that timeline though. We're in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Hunter x Hunter, Roboco, Emanon, Dragon Ball Z, Blue Box, and Roboco.
Is there twice.
Yeah, Roboco occupies 2 slots in the big three. By the way, people criticized me. They said, "Doofy, you just said 4 people in the big three. It's called the big three." I'm like, no, they're called big three because it's the 3 out of 10 each individually. These are the collection of every manga that is collectively a 3 out of 10. So don't get it twisted.
Exactly. That's why we have Hunter x Hunter there.
Yeah.
And Roboco. See, look at that. We spun it around for the Roboco haters. Now we appealed everyone.
Exactly.
Brilliant twist of fate. Matt Hardy would love that.
Yeah. So yeah, the next one is Billy Bat, which is my Ipser way of saying I love Naoki Urasawa.
Without having to put monster there.
Yeah, I wouldn't put monster there. At best I put like a 20th Century Boys. And I was like, because I showed you guys, but this came in the mail today. And I was looking at this and looking at it and reading like the first chapter. And I almost went back to the list and changed it back to 20th Century Boys, but it would take too much work because the image was already saved. But
True.
Yeah, 20th Century Boys, like, it's one of my very first manga, and it was just like so different at the time when I read it because I was so used to just battle shonens or rom-coms, and to just read 20th Century Boys, and it's just like mind blowing.
I haven't read any of their work. I really plan on reading Monster eventually. But I have no take because I haven't read it.
Monster is really good. I feel like Monster is only my 3rd favorite of Urasawa's manga because I like Billy Bat and 20th Century Boys a little bit more. But I feel like Monster, in a way, is the perfect package. I always see Monster as kind of like the one manga that really doesn't have any filler in it. Every little detail, every little character, every little like line is important to the plot. It really requires you to be like paying attention to every single thing. And it kind of like with 20th Century Boys and Billy Bat's kind of also a little bit of the same. And both of them are like very, very similar. They're bigger than Monster. They have like more characters, more plots, more mysteries. And I feel like Billy Bat is the one where Urasawa really went above and beyond to create like probably like the biggest mystery he could create. Like this manga happens in like present time. It happens in the year 2000. It happens like medieval times. There's like entire plot about Michael Jackson and the moon, the moon landing. Like there's so much stuff in it. Like Einstein appears in here and Hitler and everything. There's like so many, like almost every big historical event that happened in the past like 200 or 300 years is in this manga. And the way that like Urasawa manages to connect everything in a line that it's like sometimes can be confusing because his mysteries are generally like way too dense. But it still works, and when you get to the end of the manga, like everything makes sense in a way that I feel like 20th Century Boys doesn't, or not that it doesn't make sense. I feel like the ending is a little bit underwhelming. A lot of people like say that, oh, Urasawa's endings generally suck. I feel like Monster's ending was pretty good. I feel like Pluto's ending was pretty good, and I feel like Billy Bat's ending was also pretty good. I feel like 20th Century Boys is the only one that is weaker.
I've never heard of Billy Bat, which is interesting.
Billy Bat is like one of his most recent ones. It's kind of like the least, well, not really the least famous because I feel like people think that Urasawa was like pre-manga, and he's been like publishing manga since like the 80s. So it's like 20 manga or something.
Oh wow!
He has like a lot of stuff. But yeah, Billy Bat isn't the most well known, but I think it's his most ambitious work, and I really, really appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like when a manga tries to do something like new or different and is like ambitious like that, it can like be either super rewarding or super like tragic, like with like how good the manga is. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely give it a shot. I'll definitely like add it to my list. Meaning I'll read it in 5 years, but I'll read it.
Yeah, I was reading Billy Bat when it was ongoing, and like I came up with like you need to read it all in one. Not really all in one go as in binge it, but you can't like read it like a segment and then come back at it like a month later. Because I had to reread everything when the manga ended because I forgot everything. Because like it's same thing with I think like pretty much any of his manga. If you want to read the Urasawa manga, you need to sit down and read it.
Yeah.
You can't just read a volume a month because there's too many details there.
I'll double down on that because when I was reading Monster for the first time, like the perfect edition should just come in. That's how I was kind of consuming it. So like, I think they were coming out. I don't remember. It was frequent enough where like I feel like I was keeping track of the story, but then I gradually just kind of was like whatever, and I stopped buying them, and I just stopped caring about the manga. Then eventually they did finish the print run, so I purchased like the rest of the volumes I got for Christmas or something. And I went to kind of just hop back in where I was, and it didn't work, so I had to like start from the beginning. And then I read up most. I read like 70% of it, and then I just stopped again for whatever reason. And then farther in the future, I decided hey, I'm just gonna try and finish it now finally. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So I once again had to fucking go back to the beginning and then give it another read through. So it is very much one of those series that you have to commit yourself to in a certain amount of time, because if not, it's lost upon you. Though I do wonder, and maybe I need to reread Monster. I don't want to reread Monster. I'll read 20th Century Boys. I feel like Monster is one of the stories that especially benefits from not knowing any of the twists and turns. So I feel like once the kind of, the rabbit's been pulled out of the hat, it's difficult to get the most out of the story, and so that sense of excitement's not there on the reread. That's my prediction, and that's why I'm hesitant to do it. Whereas I can jump into 20th Century Boys, which I have never finished, and still experience that mystery now.
Yeah, the thing about that with me is that my brain is the size of a peanut, So I don't actually remember anything from Monster.
No,
Other than like I remember the final scene. That's why I say like the ending of Monster is good because I really remember the final scene. I remember like some key points. Same thing with 20th Century Boys. I remember like some characters, key points, or whatever. But yeah, I was reading the first chapter of it, like the first 2 chapters of it, and it's like, oh, I don't actually remember any of this.
see, I feel like I'm in a similar camp on average, but when I go back into it, like there are just certain images that will like unlock a pocket of things in my mind, and then suddenly I've remembered the whole plot. I'll forget it again in like 5 days, but it's like in the moment, like those little context cues will just like unlock what was dormant in your mind, and that's what I come into. Because like very much like you, I don't remember like 90% of Monster. I remember the opening scenes. I remember that one guy who puts like 5 sugar cubes in his coffee, and like the ending scene. But like the moment I jump back into it, it'll be like boop 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 boop. Here's Monster again, right before you. Yep, it's still good. But that's also why, for me, a lot of Urasawa manga, unless I revisit it in some capacity, whether that be like with Monster, like I tried watching the anime, that kind of like revitalized my love for it. I never finished it, just because I don't finish anime anymore. You know how we run it, Crash. You understand the issue here. Or like watching like a video analysis on it. Very seldom. I don't like watching video analyses, by the way, generally speaking. A whole other topic, by the way.
Bleach analysis videos? What you're telling me?
What's that?
You don't like watching Bleach analysis videos?
Absolutely not. They're awful. I hate Naruto. Oh, sorry. I love Naruto analysis videos. I hate One Piece. I hate, honestly, like first batch Shonen Jump review videos. I hate love letters.
You know what I really hate?
Oh.
Videos that have a guy named Crash in them.
Yeah. Whoa, that was oddly personal. Whoa. He wasn't even the one that initiated the spite. Damn, he's just collateral.
Like you attack him and he attacks me. Like
Crash. I can't attack Doofy. He has like an army on his Discord that'll attack me.
Yeah, we are a vicious bunch, so you gotta be careful for the DOOFY'S. They're vicious little gremlins.
Yeah, that's one thing I gotta say. Like, I think I very value about Doofy's channel. He has some really loyal fans.
Yeah. If you take like 5 seconds to look at my Discord channel, most of the people are like trashing me. Like,
Doofy's fans are worshiping him.
No, don't get it twisted. They don't worship me. They like my ideas, and we agree to that extent. But they fucking hate me as a person. So don't get it twisted. You go in there. You ask the average Doofinian what they think of me. It's like, piece of shit. He's starting arguments with me. He won't leave me alone. He keeps adding me until he gets the last word in. So, yeah, don't get it twisted. There's like 2 Doofys. There's like Philosopher Doofy, which lives in the abstract, and then there's this piece of shit that actually runs the Discord. So, but no. How the fuck did we get here? Oh, I was talking about how to have to revitalize my love for Urasawa, or else like the series just decays in my mind. Like Monster went from like a 10 to a 9.5 to a 9, and right now it's like even my mind kind of like just falling farther and farther away from me. Same with Pluto. I mean, when I read it last year, like, Pluto was like top 5 manga for me. I still think it's brilliant. I still like it more than Monster. It could just be recency bias. Who knows? We'll never know, because if I reread either, it won't really capture the same energy as the first read. But I mean, even Pluto's kind of like falling out of my grasp now, so I gotta read 20th Century Boys. It's my last hope, damn it.
You should. It's really, really good.
And I love both your guys' content, by the way. I hope. Make sure nothing got lost in transition. Make sure nothing got lost in translation there.
I don't believe you now.
It's good.
I unironically watch your guys' videos. Like,
you unironically?
Not because you're my friend. Yeah, not just because you're my friends. I just watch them casually. Like, unironically, I'm like, oh my gosh, a new upload. I will say, I have to be more picky with Crash's content because a lot of it is very spoilery, I feel like.
I try not to.
Yeah, but like a lot of the time, like, for example, I'll pull up your channel now.
Oh, we're doing this? We're having the intervention about our YouTube channels now?
Yeah. Oh, wait, never mind. I've watched all of your last 5 videos except the Red Book one.
How dare you? The Roboco one is just me just jumping into my chair and just laughing for almost 5 minutes.
I love that.
The thumbnail scared me. I think Roboco kind of sucks. It's a 3 out of 10.
That's why it's in the big three after all.
Yeah.
But
We get derailed so easily. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it shocks me. Like, it's what makes the podcast fun. But we do get derailed, like, absurdly easily.
Yeah.
for time
Like,
bait.
But it's like this is like with you guys. I was the guest on a podcast, on like Portuguese podcast the other day, and the guy was like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna ask you questions, and then we can like drift off and whatever." And I said like, "I'm pretty good at drifting off," because I was remembering like this podcast, we didn't like we stayed like he asked me a question, I replied, then he asked me another like line, almost like an interview. But with you guys, I don't know. I say like Chainsaw Man, and 5 seconds later we're talking about like Roboco.
It's always got to come back to Roboco.
I like take Blue Box, and somehow like we went from Blue Box to discovering that the reason why I love Blue Box is because I love Bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hate your guys' YouTube channel, and that's why Billy Bat's good. That's the moral of this tangent. I like to kind of abstract funny morals like that from these.
Yeah.
So become a good. Eventually, we'll get a good title out of this. So we got to keep this shit going.
Yeah, we really like. I've been sitting here thinking like, what's gonna be our title for this episode?
Yeah. We'll see.
The Bible inspired this hentai?
Yes.
Yes.
I got a good clickbait kind of oriented mind.
Yeah. The next one is Dead Demons Destruction, which is I made a whole video on this manga, and you guys should check it out because it's my favorite video on my channel so far. I predict my next upload is gonna be my favorite video for a long time, but so far it's the Dead Demons video. I don't know. I just like I love Inio Asano so much. He's my favorite mangaka. I love Solanin. I love Pum Pum. My beer is almost ending, so I'm feeling the effects of alcohol right now. So just so you guys know,
Get a little sentimental about DDDs or about Asano, I
yeah.
guess.
yeah, I just like Asano is so good at making like these deep philosophical like manga about like these characters, like dark, like Pun Pun Special is like really really dark, but I feel like Solani like just so emotionally like heavy as well. Just even if it's like the lighthearted version of Asano, the way he tackles it seems the way kind of like it's so relatable to someone who's like at least very relatable to me when I was like 23 or 24, which was when I read Solani. Like I love that so much. But then Dead Demons, kind of like the same thing I said about Billy Bat. Dead Demons is Asano just being more ambitious with what he's doing. Like the manga is more comedic, it's more chaotic. It has like such a different plot because it's sci-fi. And I like how each and every single one of his manga, this is like one of the main themes of my videos, like each of his manga, like till Dead Demons, is how about like how his characters are in this like life situations that we all go through, and they feel like the world is ending because of the weight of their responsibilities. And then we get to Dead Demons, and it's a manga literally about the world ending, and it's like actually about all these characters just don't give a shit about the world ending. Like they're so used to the way that the world is that it's just mundane to them. And it kind of really relates to how I feel like how we feel about our world, because we are probably like the worst place in terms of like planet Earth. We're on the worst place planet Earth has ever been on. And I don't know what's gonna happen with humanity in the next couple of years. But I don't know, it's just like, and here I am like on a podcast talking about manga and having fun because I don't want to think about how the world may end in like 10 years. And yeah, that's how I'll call talking.
No, I'm with it. You did it. You did
Yeah.
it a great justice. I have nothing
Yeah.
to contribute further than that. Dead to Demons for me was like, I think it's because of the way Asano presented it. I could, for the first time, not approach it so critically in the sense of just trying to figure out what Asano's doing here, as I would with his other works, and just kind of sit back and enjoy like the ride and the, because it's really, again, it's very character driven. It's very fun. It's exciting. It's sci-fi. It's something completely new for Asano. So I was just excited to be on that trip. But I really do. I quite like how you draw that parallel between how the cast is handling the quite literal end of the world. It does feel like that right now, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm rocking with that analysis. This is My Name is Doofy approved analysis of Dead Demons Destruction.
Yeah.
I only ever do like 3 Ds, but it's 4. It's D
It's
D
for
D.
Dead destruction, because it's like dead demons destruction, so it's like 4 Ds, and so the destruction has 4 Ds as well.
So wait, is it D destruction, or is it D destruction? Dead Demons D destruction. Oh, so I have been saying it right this whole time. Dead Demons D destruction. No, wait, it's Dead Demons D destruction. There's 4 Ds, then destruction. So it's 5 Ds technically. So
Okay.
I only do 3. So I say D destruction. Oh damn, my favorite mangaka apparently. Fake fan I am. Didn't even realize it was D destruction, not D destruction.
I feel like I'm not the only one who's drunk right now.
I'm functionally drunk. Physically fine, but yeah, Dead to Demons. Let's rock and roll.
just on the topic of the beer, like when I drink these beers, I get drunk for like 5 minutes. I don't know what it is. It's like, I can drink the exact same amount of these, half a liter of other beers and be fine. But with this one in specific, it just hits me for a little bit.
I can't wait
I don't know what it
to timestamp this video and like timestamp this is like Manga Crash gets wasted. And then like we're gonna watch the analytics and like there's just gonna be a massive spike there.
The title of the video: Manga Crash gets wasted in 4K.
Crash's unhinged drunk rant about
Yeah,
the state of YouTube, the state of the world.
the state of the world of planet Earth.
Yeah.
It's dying.
The Earth is dying. Read Dead Demons
Yeah, it tells you everything you need to know about the world.
and how to handle the end of it.
Yeah, just don't give a shit. Kinda is like you kind of just need to sometimes to not give a shit,
But like,
because otherwise
listen,
you just be,
it's so you're so right though, because it's like, what are you gonna do in the face of this fucking alien ship crashing down into your city? Like, you ain't gonna stop it. You gonna jump up there and hold it up? No. Like, if it's inevitable, face the facts, say fuck it, and enjoy your life. I'm with this.
Yeah.
This is a great analysis. Dead Demons
do that.
unironically might be jumping up a little bit in my rankings. It's okay. I already limited myself to only 1 title per author, because otherwise I would actually have 3 Asano titles in my like 3x3. But
same here.
this one could have been a potential 4th.
I like. Oh, so this one wouldn't be one of those 3. I'm kind of curious because I know which one is on your list.
Yeah.
And I'm happy because I feel like we had different ones.
Yeah, I'm glad we both had a different Asano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how I haven't read a single Asano work.
I don't love that. That's bad. That's an unlikable quality about you, that he has not read any Asano works. We should change that.
Just read. This is gonna sound like such a weird question, but where are you like? School? Are you in college already?
Yeah.
Okay. So read Solani. I mean, Solani isn't really about college; it's about leaving college. Essentially, it's about like first years working. But I feel like it's such a relatable manga.
Did you wait, Crash? Did you read it when you were still in college, or?
Yeah, but I was in college and working when I read it.
Okay, so that's
So-
even more powerful then.
Yeah, because I was in college. I'm not proud of this, but I was in college from 2009 to 2020.
What has Asano even written? I don't even know who Asano is.
Pun.
Oh, is he the Assassination Classroom guy?
No.
Oh no, there's a character in Assassination Classroom named Asano. Okay.
No, Asano is the pun pun guy.
Oh, he's the pun guy.
Yeah.
How many mangas has he written?
Enough for me to do a tier list and go viral from it. Let's go, boys. Go watch my Asano tier list also.
I feel like we've both read all of Asano by now. Like all these long series. It's like 10, 15?
Yeah. Something like that.
Most of them are really, really short. The only like
Oh.
long manga that he has is Dead Demons and Pun Pun.
Well, I might order pun soon. Like the physicals, and I'll read pun.
Should read
But
Solanin too.
Solanin- Yeah, Solanin is like, if you buy it physically, it's one volume.
Oh, wait, what is it called?
Solanin.
It's Solanin. Yeah.
I'll,
It's really, really good. It's my most reread manga.
I'll put it in chat for you. Boom.
It's so good.
It is very good.
Only a single volume?
Physical volume, yeah.
It's 2 volumes technically, but yeah, it's an omnibus. So
I think when I first read it, I was probably in high school. But I think the reason I resonated with it so much is because I, at that point, decided I didn't want to do school again. So again, kind of thinking about what the fuck am I doing after like having been in like grade school for 12 years. And actually, shout out to Valen in my Discord server, really smart guy. He recently read it for the first time, and I think he brought to light what Solanin does so well, and it's that it gives you like these 2 choices. You can do like the 9 to 5, or you can kind of just drop it all one day and just kind of like live your life more. I don't know.
be a musician.
Yeah, I wanted to say like precariously, but like, what does that word mean? I don't know what that word means, so I wasn't gonna say it. But at any rate, what Valen said was like, in the way he presents it, he doesn't make it feel as if either is the wrong choice. He kind of he justifies you taking either way depending on where you are mentally in your life, and I really like the way that he framed that. I thought that was very well done. But Solanin's brilliant.
Yeah, I feel like Solanin, the thing is, it really tells you, like, even when you're feeling, like, lost in those early phases, that things will be alright. Solanin tells you that, but I've kind of, like, learned that myself just by going through, like, the first half of my 20s was, like, the worst part of my life. Like, the second half was pretty great. Not saying that I don't have problems solved yet, but there's really there's this phase in your life where you feel really, really lost, and Solanin just touches that part of your life really, really great.
I reckon I'll be needing a reread soon, because once I get out of university again, it's gonna be a weird patch in my life.
Yeah. What's Solanin like epilogue?
I haven't. Yeah, Solanin Epilogue, I think it's just a short. It's the short story sequel. Just don't give a shit about that. It's like a one shot about a couple that went to live in the same house as the main character.
That one.
It's not related at all.
Okay, yeah.
It's really not related to Solanin at all. It just happens in the same place.
And that's Dead Demons.
Yeah. I mean, we've only talked about Asano, so we didn't did too big of a tangent.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that we have One Piece. I'm also gonna skip that because we've talked about One Piece.
Come on, I want to trash on something.
You want to trash on something?
Yeah.
Wait for my list. There'll be lots to trash on, I'm sure.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, I'm really hyped for the next chapter of One Piece because it's the last chapter of Wano, and I am so annoyed that I have to like struggle to avoid spoilers of the chapters, because people on Twitter just like the chapter isn't going to be released till I feel like Friday. The illegal version of the chapter is going to be released. Like the legal is only on Sunday, but I've already seen like pages of it being like dumped online.
Jeez.
And it's so annoying that I have to, if I want to like avoid spoilers for One Piece, I have to not be online for half a week. Like it's the worst part of being a One Piece fan on Twitter.
I've seen I've even seen some spoilers. Like I didn't even want to like look at them, but they were just there because they're so stupid. They put the hashtag at the end of the tweet. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna read the black text first, then I'm gonna see like the blue hashtag. It's like fuck me. And anyways, I'm just hoping that the ones I saw were like a joke or something because it was pretty fucking awful.
We'll see.
Anyways,
I think, like, they put the hashtag because you can mute the hashtag,
yeah.
but the hashtag is like One Piece then the number of chapter, which means that you have to mute a different hashtag every single week.
Yep.
It is so annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I think some use just like One Piece spoilers, but
Yeah.
there's so many hashtags also, so
Yeah.
it's just like, well, damn.
Like with Attack on Titan, I just kind of like muted every word that is like Attack on Titan related. Attack on Titan, Mikasa, Heron, which means that occasionally I'll have a conversation that's completely unrelated, and then I'll have like, you silence this tweet for a word. Like, shit.
It's so funny.
Someone mentioned Titan. Yeah. That is One Piece. Then
Wait, I
apart
really,
from that-
I really just want to ask about one spoiler, but I fear it might be something that you don't know, and then I'd be spoiling you. But I don't know if it's true or not, and
I've been avoiding spoilers for the new chapters, so
I won't say anything.
I don't know anything.
Okay, good. I'll have to ask you when the chapter comes
I
out
still
then.
like some pages, but I was like, oh no!
Yeah.
One day I'll break my phone.
You'd just be scrolling like, One Piece! That's also my reaction, but for different reasons.
You know what I there was one time when I generally did that, and it wasn't One Piece, was reading Chainsaw Man. When I'm just gonna spoil it because I feel like most people probably have read Chainsaw Man by this point. When Power died, like the chapter where Power dies, I was reading on my phone, just threw the phone away when I finished the chapter to my couch, which was on the other side of the room. But I was really, really mad at that chapter.
Oh shit. Was that when it was weekly?
I was reading weekly. Yeah.
Damn.
I've been reading weekly like Chainsaw Man since like chapter like 13.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think you
something.
said that. Yeah, that chapter was like, my jaw visibly dropped when I watched that chapter because I didn't even know about that actually. So that was
That was just.
I was like,
I made a video on that.
huh.
Just like I made an entire video just on that single moment.
It's fucking good.
I don't
That's
know.
why.
It affected me so much. Yeah. So yeah, on the left of One Piece, I have Onani Master Kurosawa, also known as Masturbation Master Kurosawa, and I've talked about it multiple times. I think I've talked about it like at least once on each episode so far. So I just wanted to say Masturbation Master Kurosawa again, and I'll see if I can say it next episode as well.
Yeah, I'm glad we all have our mental quotas of series we want to make sure we reach a certain amount of mentions per episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a lovely series. I've talked about it, why I love it, so I don't want to linger too much in it. But it is again my favorite story in terms of like character growth and like coming of age. So yeah, read it. It's like 4 volumes. Folks will read it. And I feel like I have talked about all the others, I guess, a little bit. Actually, no. So yeah, above that I have Kasane, which I did talk about on the first episode because I talked about the main character Kasane. And yeah, this manga is so beautiful. Like if you look at the art style, it's really, really beautiful, and it's made in a way that I don't see like many manga being made because the manga is about theater, and so the storytelling is told like a theater piece, not so much like a manga. Like everything is a little bit more dramatic, but in a really like engaging way, a really like fun way to read. And again, like this manga is about a character that she slowly throughout the manga starts doing like very, very morally ambiguous stuff. because she's being treated like shit all her life for being ugly. So when she becomes beautiful, or not necessarily when she becomes beautiful, but like the things that she has to do to be beautiful, like physically, are very disgusting and morally wrong. But because that's like the only way she has of being taken serious, you just kind of like, at certain points you kind of understand why she's doing that. And the other side that I like so much about this manga is that this manga could just be about like, oh, people treat like ugly people bad, and just be like that the main theme of the story. But no, there's so much about this manga that the exactly opposite. Like, people who are judged a certain way for being too beautiful. You know, so like people don't like being pretty because bad things can happen to them, or because they can be judged differently because of their physical aspect. So I just like how it handles like both ways, instead of just being like people are bad to ugly people, you know. So yeah, that's Kasane.
She steal face. Give me my face back. Copyright, my intellectual property. If she stole my face, I'd sue her, because that's my name's Doofy official property.
That's, you know what? I've seen a video on Game Theory, not Game Theory, Film Theory. Just the same guy. I don't know if you guys know him.
Matthew
One of
Patrick.
the biggest Matt Pat.
Matthew Patrick, Gamir theorist.
My hero.
We love
Matt-
Matthew Patrick.
I like Matt Pat. You know what? I used to think he was like super unfunny, and he is super unfunny. But
You're like, I used to think, but now I know.
Before it was speculation, now it's grounded in reality.
Like, he is, but I've learned to kind of like love the way he delivers, because he clearly knows he's being unfunny.
Here's the thing, he is so unfunny that
It becomes funny.
yeah, like his intros are so unfunny and so cringy that like they like twist the fabrics of space and time in my eyes. Like,
See, I came into Matt Pat late in life. You might recall that there was a phase where people were making jokes about Five Nights at Freddy's lore, and there was just this whole meme about people becoming like entrenched in FNAF lore, and it was just such a funny meme to me that I kind of just wanted to give a little taste myself. And then it started, this little dark history secret about Doofy, but I fell down the FNAF lore rabbit hole despite not having played a single game in my life. And
I did the exact same though.
And then I just found myself to Matthew Patrick, Gamir theorist, and so I was already like entrenched in 48 different levels of irony. That it became sincere, then it was like meta ironic, and then it was sincere. Like, it was just so crazy. So that when I arrived at Matt Pat, I was like, I'm watching Matt Pat. Like, I already felt like I was living a meme at that point, but it was sincere. But like I was trying to remove myself from the situation by piling on the irony, but it was just sincere at some point. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It was I came into him very mixed emotionally about where I was in life, as my status as a FNAF lore connoisseur, but
all I'll say is only through Matt Pat have I learned the secrets of life, you know? Like the secrets that Princess Peach was secretly having an affair with Mario and was in love with Bowser. Yeah. Or like the secrets of how big Luigi's bulge really is. And why Mario is secretly jealous of Luigi's bulge.
Tell Mario is a communist. I'm pretty sure that's a theory there. As well.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a theory on why Mario is a communist, or I think he also has a theory about one writing a Nintendo game being like a metaphor for like capitalism or something.
Yeah.
But that's just a theory. A game theory.
No, I just love it. I got into like the FNAF lore because of Matt Pat, because I was watching Matt Pat before.
You went inside out. I went outside in.
Yeah. So I gotten like super into the FNAF lore, and then I played the FNAF games, and I got reminded why I didn't before. It's because the games suck, and you can tell that the games are bad before you even play them.
I mean, FNAF 1 looks good. But
It
I
looks
feel.
good. It doesn't play good. I hate FNAF since FNAF 1.
Wait? So did you just not like those kind of resource management kind of games? Is it like an issue with just the game itself, like what kind of game it is, or?
Yeah, it's an issue with not so much that it is a resource game. It's just I love horror. I love horror games, and it's like when you play Silent Hill, and it's like this is amazing horror game, and then you play FNAF. It's like, oh, this is just like a jump scare simulator. You're just playing it. You just slow playing it till you get a jump scare. That's all there is to it. I don't know. I didn't like it at all.
But spooky.
It's not spooky. It's just the spook is because like
The threat.
randomly, like someone's gonna scream at your ears. It's like this. Like I used to trash Slender, which is I feel like it's kind of like also the game that you get just for the jump scare moment. But I feel like at least Slender has more of a game than FNAF is.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more to it.
Well, I disagree
And
actually,
also I
because
once
the
played-
FNAF lore, as you should know, is actually much deeper and goes far beyond just what the game's laid on. So.
Yeah, the FNAF lore is pretty good. The FNAF game, and I've only played the first one, so I don't know how the rest compares, but I don't like it.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. FNAF world building better than One Piece. Facts.
Specs. No, like FNAF. I can see why people like playing FNAF. I mean, like, it has its quirks. It has its like fun stuff, but at the same time, like, I don't know. The games are very straightforward, and most of them are not that challenging, all things considered. And I feel like they just repeat the same thing over and over with like tiny differences. Like FNAF 1, FNAF 2, like they're the same game with like maybe one or two minor changes. You know what I mean? Like in FNAF 2, you have to do the stupid box and you have to put on the mask. Like I've beaten every FNAF game.
POXAL, world FNAF champion. Okay. I think I tried to play one, and I wasn't very good at it.
The lore is just better.
Well, that's what I was saying, but
Of course.
I think that there is still an art. Okay, because I've watched enough FNAF video game reviews. Listen, I'm appropriating these opinions in my own as of now because I've never played the game, so take my word with a grain of salt. But I think there's a craft to crafting an atmosphere in a video game, and I think FNAF, at least one, does like a pretty good job at making that atmosphere. I don't think it's just the threat of a jump scare that creates that sense of unease. I think there are a lot of little details in terms of like what audio files they're using, or like what they're putting on your desk, or like the particular quality of like this picture here. Like I do think that there's a lot of little things that build up to create the atmosphere that puts you on edge. Obviously the threat of a jump scare does a lot of the work too, but I feel like even if you didn't know that was I feel like if the game had just come out and you were about to play it and you didn't know anything about it, the jump scares I don't think would have that presence immediately, and I think it would just be the actual product of the different atmosphere that's created with the different things it has, like in your little office room or whatever. But
Well, I think FNAF as a series is great. Like I think the games themselves are great. Here's the thing: there's not enough, in my opinion, there's not enough new stuff to most of the games, and you know this because like the amount of time in between production for games 2 through 4 is like 3 to 6 months a game.
Yeah.
So like the first game was released, and I can't remember. Wait, I don't want to get the exact dates wrong. So the first game was released, and it was released on August 8th, 2014. FNAF 2, which is a game I actually prefer to the first one, even though it has lots of a creepy feel in my opinion, was released. So game 1 released in August 8th, 2014. FNAF 2 released on November 11th, 2014.
Yeah, that's not enough time.
FNAF 3 released on March 2nd of 2015. And FNAF 4 released on July 23rd of 2015.
That's why one day woke up and there was like 10 FNAF games.
Yeah, between 3 and 4, there's a 2-month gap.
Yeah. Like, you're muted. Doofy, you're muted.
I never realized that before, and it explains a lot. That's actually now a double entendre because that applies both to FNAF and me having the mic off.
One reason why I think like Sister Location is so like, in my opinion, FNAF Sister Location was really well made because he actually waited a year. Like he took like a year to make the game, and you can tell based on when playing Sister Location how much better Sister Location is compared to some of the other FNAF games.
I said yeah, but I have no idea.
Like it's more like not better as in like, because the FNAF as a series in my opinion is a really fun game, but FNAF Sister Location is fun in the sense that it has a lot more innovation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it still has the same concept, but it is like its own thing, you know what I mean? And I think Scott Cawthon kind of continues that as time goes on, because like after that, the next game I think like besides FNAF World, which is like an RPG game, the next game after that I think is Freddy the Pizzeria Simulator, and that it still keeps some of the main core themes that FNAF needs, like that whole gameplay, but it also has you building your own pizzeria, and then you have to do the thing where you have to be a security guard, pretty much.
Crash is just like, fucking Pizzeria Simulator? What the fuck? What happened to being a security guard in a little room?
I've heard about FNAF 1 through 4 because I've seen their pages on Steam. I think I've seen the Sister Location page on stream as well. And I knew that there's a new one that everyone says it's bad because it's full of bugs. I don't know the name, but I've seen like Jacksepticeye played it. I didn't know there was more games to it.
I think he might do the like you, because like
there's the
Pizzeria
VR.
Simulator came out in 2017, and then after that there was Ultimate Custom Night.
Which one was the one with like they were like glam rock
Yeah, I feel like
animatronics?
Yeah.
Was that FNAF World?
Glam Rock?
They were
Like Chibi?
I feel like that's the new one.
that is the new one, whatever it is. FNAF.
Yeah.
Security
The
Breach.
people complain. Security Breach. Yeah, is it?
Oh yeah, that's the I think that's the mobile game.
No, I think it's a PC game.
Yeah, I think it's PC. 'Cause
I've seen Jacksepticeye.
What's the mobile game then?
I don't know.
Because there's a mobile game.
You're asking the wrong people. You're the resident.
I think it is. I think Security Breach is I've never.
It's on PS4. It's on PS4, confirmed.
Yeah. I never played any of the games after Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator.
It's also on Steam.
That exists. Like,
Well, like it's like it has the you're making your own pizza store and buying everything, and you're managing your own pizza store, but then you're also the security guard. So like, you have like a simulator, and then like as soon as night rolls around, it becomes a normal FNAF game again. So it has enough innovation to be like an actual new game. Unlike from FNAF to FNAF 2, in my opinion.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like my problem is more so that I grew up in that age of survival horror, like the Resident Evils, the Silent Hills. And I look at FNAF and it just doesn't give me anything like those games gave me. Like I feel like I just relate more to that. So I don't know. I just didn't like FNAF.
Yeah.
Like I cannot compare. Like even if you say like, oh, FNAF 1 has really good atmosphere. Like I'm gonna delve a little bit more on this when we get to 3x3 games, but like compared to Silent Hill, like no other game compares to Silent Hill.
I compare to Silent
In my
Hill.
humble opinion. Yeah, you're not a game.
Then why you keep playing me, Crash?
Oh, I figured it out. It's FNAF Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery. That's the mobile game.
True. So that's why we love Kasane.
Yeah. This was the weirdest.
This one went a little wild. Yeah. Frankly, this one, I think our average Big 3 podcast head might skip ahead on this one. Unfortunately, they're missing out, of course, but
Of course.
I don't know. I think they'd stick around. FNAF is like the best anime of all time. Like,
Dude, like I got like I think we are all on this page, but like I got into FNAF lore. Ironically, I came out genuinely appreciating all the details that were in those games and how the fans put it together into this crazy coherent story.
same.
It's so nuts. Like, if I ever go to the bookstore and see like that OG survival guide book, I'm gonna buy that because that's like all the lore you could ever want. Only that one though. The more recent shit's just like dog. Also, fuck the novels.
I feel like a piece of me feels like Scott is like now milking the fact that the fan base is like so into the lore at this point, because like he releases like 1 million books a day. Like there's so many FNAF books now.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think like it fit. I think there's like plot holes everywhere. Like
There's different universes though. There's like the novel universe,
yeah, true.
which is separate.
All the universes are separate. I forgot.
Right? Yeah.
FNAF multiverse.
FNAF multiverse. But respectfully, we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes.
By the way, I just want to point out that this tangent happened because I started the sentence that I did not finish about MatPat, about a film theory video I watched. I did not even finish that fucking sentence.
Yeah. All hail Matthew Patrick for this tangent.
Oh yeah, because I think you randomly mentioned like you were like in the middle of the sentence and I was like, do you guys know who Pat is?
Yeah.
Like you interrupted your own sentence to ask him who he was, and then we started talking about FNAF because Pat has so many FNAF theories and so many Undertale theories. That's
So yeah, my whole point, the whole thing I was gonna say is that he made a theory about like how Disney owns our face and wherever like copyright things. It's not related to anything now, but it was to something back then.
Yeah, I said if Kasane steals my face, I'm suing her.
Yeah.
does this mean like Kasane and FNAF are like related?
Yeah, FNAF.
Now they are.
Kasane's and FNAF.
So this is why you love Kasane, because Pat made FNAF theory videos.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving to Dorohedoro, which is my #1 manga of all time. I don't know, this is another one that I feel like it's kind of like Chainsaw Man. It's crazy, it's insane, it's fun to read, and I have an entire video on why I love this one. It's a bit old, but my opinions haven't changed. I think like the greatest thing of Dorohedoro is how you look at it and it feels like so dark. Like there's gore, like the art style is messy, like the world where they're in is like so dark, so visceral. Like it feels like you're gonna read the Berserk. But then you meet the characters and they all behave like they are on a slice of life comedy. They're like super wholesome, like every single one. They're trying to kill each other, but they are doing it like super wholesome ways. And it should not work. Like the way that these characters contrast with the world should not work. But the way that Ayashida does it, it does so well, like better than any other manga I've read. And Daidark which is her new manga, is the exact same. It's not as dark, but it still feels like Dorohedoro. It's Dorohedoro in space, essentially. But yeah, and the manga is just so visually like amazing. I feel like a lot of people probably won't like it because it's very sketchy, I guess. But it is really, really good. So, yeah. That's my Dorohedoro bit.
It's good. I approve this message also.
I haven't read it.
You should. The only problem with Dorohedoro is that the final arc is a little bit too long. It's half of the manga.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
Crash, you basically like in this podcast, you have given me like 80 stories to read. You realize that, right? Going beyond the 9 that you the 6 of the 9 that I haven't even heard of that you picked. Well, that I hadn't read that you already picked. Like you've even like recommended mangas by recommending those mangas. Like we were on. Which one were we on? Was it
almost
no,
the end?
No, but it was another one, and you were just like
On it.
the Asana work one.
Oh yeah, Dead Demons.
Yeah.
It's the
You were-
recommended Solomon.
You were on that one, and then just randomly you were like, "Yeah, I recommend that you should read this. You should also read Goodnight Pun Pun and Solanin or Solanin."
And Heroes. Heroes is a great like Asano manga.
Yeah, and then I think like we mentioned like Monster. No, you mentioned Billy Bat, and then you were like, "Yeah, you should read Monster, 21st Century Boys, and Billy Bat."
To be fair, like Asano, Urasawa, and Ayashida are like my favorite mangaka.
To be
Like
fair, they both-
I love everything that they write.
yeah. To be fair, they both like I've heard of a lot of their works.
Yeah, they're really really good. So I want to move to Lavina quickly, just because I left that to the last because it was the one that I had more to talk about. So
50-minute tangent, boys.
I don't know, like Lavina was the first manga that I finished, which is different from the first manga that I read. I think the first manga that I read was Naruto or
Base.
Tsubasa Chronicles.
Not
It
base.
was one of the two. Tsubasa Chronicles was great. It wasn't better than Naruto. I'll say that.
Amended. Take amended.
Yeah. But Lavina was the first manga that I completed, and it was like it was my first rom-com. And I don't know, I feel like right now if you're gonna read Lavina, it may feel like it's a generic rom-com. Kinda is. Especially compared to all the other 2000s rom-com, not so much the more recent ones, but the reason why it is so similar to the 2000s rom-coms is because this isn't a 2000s rom-com, this is a 90s rom-com. It's from 1998. And every single rom-com manga that came out after Lavina was inspired directly or indirectly by Lavina. Like this is the Dragon Ball of rom-coms. Why are you looking at the camera like that?
I'm just letting them know they better be listening because this is the Dragon Ball of love rom-coms.
Yeah, this is Dragon Ball. This is like 100% like the Dragon Ball of rom-coms.
Wait,
Even
I didn't-
said,
If this is the Dragon Ball of love rom-coms, and Dragon Ball is in the big three, does this mean this is like the big three of love rom-coms?
I love rom-coms. I would say Lavina. If there was a big three of rom-coms, I would say Lavina is mostly definitely.
Let me be honest, I have never heard of Lavina.
Really?
Ever.
Lavina, yeah. I feel like Lavina has slowly like disappeared from like people's consciousness, just because it's a little bit too old. Like it's a manga from 1998. The anime is like 2002 or something.
Okay, all I'm saying is your list makes me look like a major normie, and I don't like it.
Don't worry, we're gonna be knocked back down with my list. I'm like the perfect blend of normie and elitist, so I'm the
Like,
bridge between you two perfectly.
But here's the thing, like, when it comes to anime, I ain't a normie. Crash is the anime normie here. I'm just the manga normie. I'm just now getting into manga.
Crash had the most
Yeah.
atypical manga list. That's
Like
the
2
farthest from a normie. I'd say far
Manga
from.
yeah. I feel like the thing is, if you ask like someone who started reading like manga in the mid 2000s or watched anime in the mid 2000s, like I feel like a lot of those people, especially like the ones like rom-coms, would have Lavina. I talk with a lot of people that are like, oh, I love Lavina, it was my favorite manga. That happens so often when talking like people around my age. Because they're like, it was a big manga back then. Like even I feel like there's so many that just kind of like disappeared. School Rumble. When I started like watching anime, School Rumble was a big deal, and then it isn't anymore. Azumanga Daioh was huge. It isn't anymore. Soul Eater, I feel like Soul Eater is still a little bit big, but like Soul Eater was like the big fifth, I guess. Like after the big three and Full Metal, it was Soul Eater. And now I don't see like sometimes like people mention Soul Eater, but it's not as big. So there's definitely a lot of manga that hasn't survived the times. And I'm actually kind of curious to see which of the manga are like big right now, or were big, in the mid 2000s, in the mid 10s, are gonna be forgotten in like 5 years
See,
because it's gonna be the exact same.
my theory is that inevitably all manga will fade to the
When the
streams
meteorite
of time, and the reason for that, like, people are like, well, we're still talking about the big three. I'm like, dog, we still have Boruto going around. We still have a Bleach anime coming up. We still have One Piece is still ongoing. We have Dragon Ball Super. These properties aren't going anywhere because they're still actively being revived in some way. So, like, that's why they're still relevant. Likewise, AOT ended, a few years back or whatever. The anime's still ongoing. Like, that's why these things are still relevant. Hunter x Hunter's still ongoing, bro. Like, that's why we're still talking about it. I really think that, by and large, every series will just dissolve once it's irrelevant, once it doesn't have any relevant media. Because I think genuinely, I made the argument last time, I think FMA is like irrelevant now. I think that it just sparks back up when something threatens its spot, and then the fans do what they do, and that's whatever. But like, I don't think it's as active as a thing
you don't see, like,
to
the
praise. Yeah, it's like never even in the bot tweets anymore. It doesn't even make the damn bot tweets. Right? Isn't that crazy? Like, FMA is not in the bot tweets anymore. Just like, think about that. That shit's crazy.
Like, it's not even like FMA is that old. Like,
Yeah.
It's around the same time. No, actually, Levini's older though. But yeah,
because Brotherhood, like, FMA 2003 is only maybe it's like almost 2 decades old. FMA Brotherhood is only a decade old.
The one that shocks me the most is fucking Code Geass. How that's still kicking around is beyond me, because it's
a movie.
When?
But I feel like even
2 years ago, 3 years ago, it had a new movie.
I didn't realize.
Code Geass and Death Note really are still like relevant. Like, people are still like talking.
Yeah,
But eventually they won't. Like, it's only as long as they're still active, like the media is active or discussion is active. And a lot of the time when there's no active like new stuff coming out, discussion starts to die out. Like, I'm a Bleach fan, but for the longest time, Bleach died.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
There was like 2 or 3 good years right in like the dead center before we got the anime announcement, before all this, where there was still discussion going on, but it was so minuscule that, like, if you were like an average Twitter user, you might have heard the name Bleach. Or people who were doing like best villains of all, well, not best villains, but people who were doing like tournament brackets for stuff, for like podcasts, Bleach would be an afterthought. Like, they would get like all, like, Bleach would not be the first thing that comes to their mind.
Yeah.
But I feel like Bleach was always like slightly relevant because being part of the big three and the other two still being around in some form, you were always like discussions about Naruto and One Piece, and eventually like Bleach would pop up, but it definitely wasn't as frequent. The anime really did wonders in making it relevant again.
Yeah, like, until the anime came out, there was only two Bleach YouTubers that were actively producing content for Bleach, and that would be our good old friend James Hansen and Phantom Equincer, I think his name is.
Yeah, I don't want to say, like, I really admire, like, when did you start like doing YouTube? More specifically, when did you start doing Bleach content? That's kind of like the
Bleach content. My first Bleach video was on Gini Shimaru, and I'd say that was It was in the month of November, like October 22nd, 2020.
Okay, so that is like 3 years after Bleach ended.
Yeah,
and I find like that amazing because, like, I see a lot of One Piece content creators, and they really feed on discussions like of ongoing stuff, like every chapter, like the discussion, like the theories that may happen or whatever. With Bleach, you like, now you have the anime, but in the one shot, I guess. But even then, you don't have new material. So I really admire how you are able to like create so many videos, like for years now, of manga that has ended. I really find that amazing.
I will say that the most difficult aspect is not making a video on the same topic, because there's so many limited topics out there. There's still a lot for me to cover in the manga currently, but it's all about, like, when I do YouTube, it is definitely a passion project, but I also want things to do well, if that makes sense. Like, who wouldn't, you know?
I get it.
So when I'm thinking of video topics, I'm like, will X, Y, or Z perform well in any way? And it really starts to narrow the ideas. Like, and sometimes my ideas don't work, but a lot of the time I feel like they do. And like I said, sometimes I miss the nail, but other times I hit the nail. It's hard to pick a topic that you would think will do well when you're not getting ongoing stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, say, like, a character analysis on a random captain, like Gini Chimaru, for example. How many people are going to be actively searching for Gini Chimaru when, spoiler alert, we're the Big Three podcast, so we don't need to mark this. Gini Chimaru died like a decade ago. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna get like new chapters with him, and we haven't so many times, so long time.
exactly.
Yeah. Goodbye, Bozo. That's what I have to say to Genichimaru. Goodbye,
L
Bozo.
plus ratio. L plus ratio.
Gone and forgotten.
I guess it's a little easier with the anime returning. Like, usually if you cover something Thousand Year Blood War related, you can figure it usually does well right now in like Bleach YouTube.
Bleach tube, if you will.
Yeah, Bleach 2. Even though there's really only like 5 or 6 active creators.
That you know of. There might be French
Sorry,
tubers.
English creators. I met a bunch of Russians that really like Bleach and make Bleach content.
That's interesting to know. But that's our tangent. Number 1 of this topic. Bringing it back to Lavina just so I can end it. So yeah, I feel like the main reason why I really, really love this manga, and to me, more so than One Piece, more so than Dorohedoro, more so than any other manga, this is like the most important manga to me, is Lavina. It's because I read it at the time I really, really needed, because this is a manga, you know, every rom-com is a manga about a guy who's in love with a girl, and the girl doesn't really care about him because he's a nerdy, like, outcast, and then every single girl likes him, and then he falls in, and then he gets a girl at the end, I guess. And I just happened to came across this manga and this anime at the exact same time where I got my first rejection. Like in high school. So I was like super vulnerable at the time. And to get like this, especially like because the character, the main character reminded me a little bit of me. But also because the character that the main character likes, Narusegawa, also reminded me a little bit of the girl that I liked. Because she was like the smart brains, the cute girl of the school and everything. I don't know, it just really, really affected me. I was like, I got rejected, I'm not gonna get a girl, but this guy, I'm gonna live through this guy. Like, this guy's gonna get a girl, I'm gonna be rooting for you. So yeah, it really, really... And it just cheered me up, I guess, when I was done. Which was really great. And what I love, like a little bit about Lavina, this is gonna go into a rant about modern rom-coms in general, is that this is a story about this guy liking this girl. Even though this is an RM manga, even though there's a bunch of other girls that, you know, that fall in love with him and get naked because it's an ecchi rom-com. Harem mangas, of course it does, but at its core, it's a manga about this guy liking this girl. And even though there's like a middle of a romance triangle there, you never stop believing that this guy's completely in love with the girl, and when they finally get together, it feels rewarding because you've been wanting them, like the manga has been trying to get them together since the beginning. Whereas I feel like, not to say that We Never Learn or Quintuplets are bad manga, because I really enjoy them, but like with Quintuplets, the whole point of the manga is trying to figure out which girl is the final girl, the girl that he ends. So we don't get like these scenes of like him being actively in love with that girl till like the last 10 chapters. and it's just like at the end of the manga, it's like, oh, this is the final girl, so now you're gonna like it. And you miss on that like genuine chemistry between the main cast. I feel that some of these 2000s manga had.
That's kind of why I like, cause like I'm a big fan of like the early, like the mid 2000s, like 2010 rom-com anime.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge fan of them. But there was this one that I recently watched called Rainbow Days. It was really, really good. But it's an older show, I think. I know the manga is currently being officially translated to English for the first time. Gotta pick up. But it kind of gave me a similar feeling, like where like you know this character loves this girl, and you almost like root for him because like you kind of put yourselves in like his shoes, and you're like, hey yo, I hope that this works out. And I guess that's kind of like the beauty of rom-coms. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this is kind of also why I really like Blue Box, because Blue Box.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
It is the exact same. Like this guy likes this girl, and it's so pure.
Yeah, like it still has the troubling things with like Hina's confession, all that, but you still have this like, you know that he doesn't like Hina like that. You know that he has his goal. He likes this one girl, and that girl is for him, like in his eyes, like, and like you watch as he struggles with that, deals with his emotions, and then hopefully confesses soon.
Yeah. Eventually. Yeah, I feel like you can do harem differently and still do well. I feel like Ichigo 100% does it really well. I feel like Good Ending also does it really well, where there's, I don't like, the guy may like multiple girls, but it's, first of all, it's never like more than 2 or 3, and it's done like slowly. Like he falls in love with this girl, but then something happens with the other, and then there's like this, a little bit of chemistry with her. I don't know, it's a little bit more, you can do it, but you need to have that chemistry happen.
I don't really like mangas that follow like a main boy male character that likes 2 girls at once. For me, like, maybe it's just because I can't relate to that feeling, you know, and I can't put myself in his shoes, because for me at least it's always been like I could only ever like actually like one individual at one time. Otherwise I feel like it's very I don't know.
I feel like
I'm not judging anyone. It's just like my thought process, I guess. It's just how my brain functions, and because of that, I can still enjoy those mangas. I can still find them interesting. But one of the things I love about manga is when you can put yourself into it, you know. And I can't do that with a protagonist that likes 5 or 6 girls, or
I feel like Ichigo 100% does that aspect really well, because the character likes 2 girls at the same time. But towards the ending of the manga, he feels like because he likes 2 girls, he, first of all, he can't really pick, and because he can't really pick, he feels like he's gonna lose them both. I feel like that's
great. That is great. I'm sorry for interrupting, but that sounds like an awesome concept. Like,
because normally they don't like, they normally like all these 5 girls or whatever many there are, and then he picks one. That's kind of what I feel. We'd never learned there's like multiple endings for you to pick whichever girl you feel like. But yeah,
'cause, like, I guess like that's like a common thing where like, and it's true. Like that's real life. Like if you're gonna be like mixed between 2 girls, they aren't gonna wait around you, or 2 guys. They're not gonna wait around on you to pick. Like they're not gonna, like, so often in media we see people like Red Girlfriend, for example. I don't read Red Girlfriend actively, but I know Eddie does, and he tells me this story. There's like a 3 or 6 month break between the main guy seeing the main girl, because the main girl said, I can't see you for 6 months. Rarely does that ever work out in real life.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense, like logically speaking, in a realistic sense, for something to happen. I get like having space with one another, but like 2 girls, 2 guys, whatever, they aren't gonna wait around for you to pick. You gotta pick.
Well, that's exactly the appeal of the manga for most people. Well, a lot of people, not
Yeah.
most. Is that they do get to live out that idealized fantasy through the medium, right? It's precisely because of how unrealistic it is that it's appealing, because it's like, oh, I can finally live out my fantasy through this medium.
Yeah. Again, I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But
I feel like, our manga in general are meant to be, like, just feeling fantasy of just having, like, so many girls liking you. I don't know, I just never felt, like, the need myself to have, like, 5 girls liking me. 2, maybe?
I always hate it because, like, it's so unrealistic on how, like, sometimes in the harem manga, or harem anime, when I'm saying manga, I'm more so mean anime because that's just what I've seen more of. Like, a lot of the time the guys, like, don't even show any interest in any of the 5 girls, and for some reason, all 5 of them just remain liking the same guy for, like, years, and it's so confusing. Like, and for some reason he's like completely oblivious that one of them likes him until like 100, like until the end of the season, the last episode, when he finally figures out, oh shoot, these 5 people like me.
Yeah, that's quintuplets 101. But I feel like, at least with quintuplets, and at least with We Never Learn, the reason why I like those mangas about all of that is because I got, especially with We Never Learn, I feel like I got to understand why the girls like the main character. I would date the fuck out of the main character myself.
Because like with like main characters, a lot of them are perfect, I guess, like harem protagonists, like these perfect guys. I don't know. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. A lot of the time they're scumbags. But
that's the thing. We Never Learn. I understood, because the only thing it does for the entire series is help these girls. It doesn't do anything else but help. So I was like, I get why they would like him. Yeah,
he's just a helpful guy. Like,
yeah.
You're talking about quintessential quintuplets, right?
I talked about We Never Learn, but honestly,
okay.
Quintuplets is very similar.
Yeah,
I talk about both of them. Both of them have the exact same plot, actually. But yeah, so the main character is also kindish similar. I feel like the main character of Quintuplets is a little bit more serious in that pen. But they're both like people who are poor and smart, and they need help, like these girls to solve to pass the exams. It's the exact same plot.
Alright, I have a question for you, Doofy.
Shoot.
What's the run time right now?
2:40.
I'm over
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh god. I've just finished. I have nothing else to say about Livia. But my god.
Bruh.
Definitely on track for the longest.
Yeah, no, this is the longest, no matter what, because the longest was 2 hours and 44 minutes.
It's 2:38 right now, so we're still under, technically.
You're not gonna go through your list in 14 minutes, Doofy.
Watch me. Fucking sit back and watch how the master of concision does it.
Like talking nothing about it.
Like my
person is always like the worst in this case, in this situation.
Yeah, the last person that has to do it always has to rush through this.
Yeah,
I always feel bad.
As long as we all take a turn at the bottom.
We've talked about it. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
So
I opened your list, and all I have to say is Culture, Doofy, Bleach there, Peak Fiction.
Yeah, you'll notice immediately.
Man.
Yeah, we all had Chainsaw Man, indeed. We should really be the Chainsaw podcast, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
But yeah.
The tragic future of Makima.
We'll start from the bottom left, because it'll be the easiest to start eliminating them one by one. Chainsaw Man. Oh, by the way, quick note. I think I mentioned this last time. Naruto's not here. because it's my favorite manga and anime. I'm only putting it there once. I like the anime more. I put it on the anime one. So here we get to enjoy Bleach, another representative of the big three, of course. We're not talking about that. We're saving it for the episode. We already talked about Chainsaw Man. I like both, okay? I lied earlier. I like the fast pacing of Chainsaw Man. I'm a simple man. I like fast fucking paced action. Chainsaw Man gave me fast paced action. I liked it. It's cool.
Do you feel like melons and action?
Balance and action. That's the big two. And chainsaws.
And chainsaws.
But I am the
three of
biggest
big
Chainsaw fan
categories.
because I have this. Like,
You are the biggest fan, yeah.
Ah, shoot. Also, one last comment. Can we just say how cultured DOOFY'S list is for not having One Piece?
Of course. One Piece isn't even top 100, bro. Don't get it twisted. It's common facts.
y'all are mean. I'm not mean to your series.
We're truthful, okay? If you we're truthful.
Crash, you don't remember our series enough to be.
I don't.
Yeah, there we go.
I hated like when Ichigo fought Jin Ichimaru that one time in Soul Society.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why didn't
Worst part.
Renji use his Bonkai against Ichigo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he didn't have his
Nope.
Bankai yet.
Checkmate.
My favorite part
Checkmate.
was
You're
when,
spreading misinformation. You're spreading misinformation. Checkmate. I got it right. You got it wrong.
favorite part of Bleach is when
Bankai.
Chad beats his Aizen. That's my favorite part.
Bro.
When Chad just pops and punches Aizen.
I love how Don Kanoji fights Aizen, but doesn't have like a scratch on him after the fight. Therefore, I think Don Kanoji might be the strongest character on Bleach, because even Ichigo's arm got
No, Orihime scales to fucking Yuhaba. We all know this to be facts, okay? She's the strongest.
His multiverse level. Wait, no, that's Naruto.
To be fair,
He's-
Orihime has a lot of plot.
What? What?
Orihime has a lot of
Is
plot.
A lot of plot armor for sure. You're like
I got it. I got the plot.
okay, so we don't have to discuss Chainsaw, we don't have to discuss Bleach. Ping Pong
I hate
is
ping pong.
I love ping pong.
It's like Blue Box.
It's just better Blue Box, okay? Because it does everything Blue Box does, but better and more, and then some, okay? For one, it has. The more I reflect on it, the more I'm starting to think Matsumoto might have my favorite art in manga. It's just like scratchy and fun and so expressive in a kind of abstract way. Like when he depicts like the ping pong battles, it's like it's very exaggerated for the sake of perspective, but like he exaggerates certain features to really represent why that person is in the game, why that person is fighting. Unlike Blue Box, it shows the damn matches, okay? We actually see the characters live their emotions, their motivations, their last will and testament through these fucking ping pong matches, okay? When you watch Peko versus Dragon, right, in that fine little section where it's, first of all, one of my favorite fights in all of anime. Not even a real fight. It's a ping pong match. But this shit is everything I like about ping pong in one fight. So that's why I'm going to use that as, I guess, my template example. Because at the one hand, we do have this kind of constant back and forth between like nature, like the talent aspect versus hard work, right? That's a theme that I think a lot of manga like to tackle. Everyone likes to talk about that with Naruto, you know, whether Naruto was really the product of hard work or some kind of born natural talent. You know, you see that with like Neji and Rock Lee. People love to talk about that. My issue with it in the sphere of battle shonen, though, is that it just feels like an abstract concept because the way these characters live them, it's just too far out of reach for me. Like, the fact that Neji's a natural born genius means nothing to me in my real life because I'm not a fucking ninja. It means nothing to me. But when I see Peko early on just like fucking slamming these kids in like ping pong, that's so much closer to something tangible that I can relate to because ping pong is something that they're doing in the gym while like I'm in the classroom like writing, you know, essays for English class or something. There's this level of concreteness there where I can more vividly conceptualize the concept at work. So I really like ping pong for that, for really chiming in on that debate. And interestingly, what'd you say, POXAL?
Is this the same ping pong that was adapted into Ping Pong the animation?
Yeah.
So to tell, like, I watched the first 8 minutes of it. I didn't really like the art style, and I dropped it.
Damn.
I feel like
meth
there's
fell.
some probably work better. But I really am happy that they stayed faithful to the art style, because Matsumoto is known for that art.
Yeah.
So to adapt his manga differently, I feel like it would be a bit of a disservice to him.
Yeah, the art
But I feel
is
like-
everything.
Yeah, I feel like
Give the manga a shot.
when I first read or first saw like Matsumoto's art, I really didn't like it. I thought it was ugly. But the moment you actually see it in the manga and you're reading it, like Ping Pong and I don't remember the full name of the other, but like the samurai one, something samurai. That's something samurai. Both of those are so beautiful in the way that they do the art style. They do the paneling, everything is so good.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. To finish the tangent on talent versus hard work,
Sorry about that.
I really like the spin Ping Pong has on it, because again, in that final fight, it shows that like natural talent just isn't always enough. It's not invincible. You can, if neglected, just lose if you don't cultivate your craft in some sense. I think Ping Pong does a good job with that. It's not just like, I am protagonist, I am born gifted, therefore I will win. Right? There's this kind of vulnerability present in the depiction of that. So I quite like that. The other thing I really like, and this is where I get to fill my quota of mentioning Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, it's finding the fun in the game regardless of the outcome, right? We saw that when I talked about the final fight in GX with Judai versus Yugi. He's, Slifer, or I don't remember what the exact thing is. I think Flame Wingman was going to attack Slifer or something. Obviously he was gonna fucking lose, but he's just like, yes, I remember now why I do this, why I love this, the fun of dueling, and I'm like, yes, the fun of dueling. And we see it again here with Dragon against Pekko. I think it was Dragon anyways. He's like, show me how to fly, Pekko, and he's like, I can't believe this moment's incredible. I want this to go even farther. Pekko, show me more. And like, he's just like, it's so obvious to him that he's going to lose, and he's just like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm having the time of my life. I just want to learn more. I want to fly. That shit was just so powerful to me. Like, that moment in the manga was like really what I keep thinking back on, and just Ping Pong slowly climbs up like my top, 50 or whatever manga. Anime and manga. It's quite high amongst my manga, as you can see, and it's come a long way. And I think it'll go even farther. I want to watch the anime. I love how it perfectly adapts the style, the paneling. It's so quirky, but anyways, I'm glad I was able to say something substantive about Ping Pong and not just say it looked cool. But yeah, I do quite like it on the thematic level, and I love Matsumoto's art style. I think it serves the manga great. And to go back to my earlier praise of a Blue Box, Crash kind of stole my thunder back there. But yeah, it never explains Ping Pong to you. But no, it's all good. But I think it works here because they're playing at such a high level where they don't need to just talk about the rules of ping pong. Like, every now and then they'll talk about, oh, I got this new racket, I have to use this side instead of that side. Okay, so to me, as someone who knows nothing about ping pong, that's whatever. But that's fine. I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it works well here to not explain all the rules. But
Ping pong is also a very simple game.
also true. I'd also say the same about baseball, though, so...
Baseball is not a fucking simple game.
It's very, bro. You hit bat.
Come on.
You run. You go around.
Yeah, but then if you miss 3 times, you're out. And if you hit the ball to a certain angle, it's out. And then there's the home runs, and then you need to catch the ball and throw it back to someone who needs to touch the person. But then you can also throw the ball to the ground and run in. They have to go. But I don't know. It's
really so hard. But you were able to explain it in 20 seconds right there perfectly. So I mean,
it's a fucking weird game. I don't know. Especially the thing is, without context of the rules, you can get ping pong. You can understand ping pong. You can understand basketball. You can kind of understand football. The actual football, sorry, American ones, but the soccer.
Get their ass, yeah.
You can kind of get those intuitively. I feel like by watching people play it for 5 minutes. Baseball, you can't. I'm sorry, but you cannot. You can get some of the basics. But...
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Anyways, that's my case for ping pong. Excellent. Tayo recommended it to me.
I just want to give a shout out. He's probably not watching this, but if you are watching this, Marks, he is like the biggest ping pong fan I know. I've seen it reread ping pong 3 times in a single day.
Okay, go off,
Yeah.
King. You love to see it. You love to
Man's
see it.
like me with Code Geass for real.
FR. Above ping pong, we have Rurouni Kenshin, which is just a fantastic battle shonen. I think I've exhausted the reasons I like it when I discuss Kenshin's character arc. I do think he is like the moving force of the story of Rurouni Kenshin. Goes without saying. It's not to say that the side characters are interesting and the different dynamics that Kenshin has with various figures from his past as Batosai, but for the sake of time, I have very much exhausted my points about Kenshin previously. So
I always forget, Doofy, that you're a Kenshin fan.
yeah, I am.
But I really appreciate it because I feel like Kenshin is very underappreciated because of the acts the author did, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I still feel like it's pretty renowned amongst those who've read it. Usually the people that are critical of the author. I mean, I think everyone's critical of the author, but it's especially fans that use that as their reason for not reading, which, by the way, that is a valid reason to not want to read it. I think I could justify it by, like... I think I can justify it by... I bought all my volumes secondhand. Yeah, or buying illegally. I mean, reading legally...
Do not buy it.
Pirating, or buying the secondhand, which I did. So that's why I can kind of get around that. I also believe in separation of art and art. Artists and art, so philosophically I'm safe on those grounds too. But what'd you say about the anime, Poxal?
Nope.
I've only seen the Kenshin anime.
Have you seen the whole anime, or?
I think so. It's been a while because I saw it it was one of my first animes.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
The only memory I have of Rurouni Kenshin is I'm pretty sure it's the beginning of the story. I remember when I was like, I don't know, like 6, 7, watching an episode of Kenshin, I guess, just going like killing like a bunch of guys who were on like surrounding monocircle. I think that's the beginning of the anime. I'm pretty sure.
Could be. That also
That's
sounds
like
like a shot in in the first opening, I think.
Or maybe I have that vividly in my memory, but I don't remember anything else.
Is it?
The anime?
Let's test how vivid it is. Is it kind of like a wide shot and it's very blue? It's kind of coming from like a side-on perspective. I might be just leading. I might just, objection, Your Honor, leading questions. I think that could be the case. But if so, that's the shot from the intro, like from the introduction opening theme thingy. It's very cool. He's like jumping around. He's like bow 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 bow.
I think Kenshin, Rurouni Kenshin. I think it's a lot like one of those shows that we were bringing up earlier, where it's like a series that used to be like as big. Well, not as big, but it used to be like one of the shonen. You know, like when people were thinking of shonen, it was like, you know, because I think it was like Kenshin was late 90s, right?
Mid-late 90s. Yeah.
So
I remember
it was,
Kenshin.
it was
Kenshin had,
right before Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece, pretty much.
Kenshin was the popular manga between the ending of Slam Dunk and Dragon Ball and the beginning of the Big Tree. Essentially, it had like the little space.
So it used to be like known as like the shonen, but now that we look at it, like, I don't think a lot of people really know Kenshin. Like I think like anime fans do, like really deep anime fans and really big manga fans do. But I think like the average anime / manga fan, like the normie essentially, doesn't know what Rurouni Kenshin is. I think it's like one of those things that has been and is basically forgotten from time, you know. Like it's still big. Like when you bring it up, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I know what Kenshin is," you know. But like,
I do think that I think it still stays relevant because just of the manga, like people are like told to stay away from it for these reasons, and I think that kind of gives it some kind of relevancy. Because I mean, every time a scandal comes up with a mangaka, they're like, just like that time with the Rurouni Kenshin manga, Like, I think I saw an anime man do a bit on some other scandal that happened, and of course, the first thing he says, you know, just like with Rurouni Kenshin, like that's they go hand in hand together. So I think that's its relevancy. Unfortunately, terrible thing that the author's done.
Yeah.
The
It's
author's
hard for me to
horrible.
say. Yeah, it's hard for me to say because I come from a country where Rurouni Kenshin was pretty big when I was a kid. If I mention Dragon Ball to anyone around my age, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. Did you watch Samurai X?" Which is what we call Rurouni Kenshin. So everyone probably like knows it.
Yeah, it was also
This-
it was also big
Around
in
my
the country where my girlfriend grew up. It was also called Samurai X there. So
yeah, it's a good name. I kind of like that name better.
yeah, it's catchier. Well, they named the OVA officially Samurai X: Trust and Betrayal. So
Nice.
we got that small victory. Brilliant OVA, by the way. It's like the little like epilogue. No, what's the thing? Prologue, I guess. I mean, it's like the backflash at the beginning of the Jinchu arc. So they got that close to touching one of the best arcs in all of Shonen, and then they were like, "Nah, fuck it." It's got a live action adaptation, but it's like I don't care. Anyways, Rurouni Kenshin. To the left of that, we have Flowers of Evil, which I don't really need to talk about. I think Flowers of Evil is just recognized as a great manga. I have nothing to contribute. I love Shuzo Oshimi. Really?
You never heard of the Flowers
Remember
of
Flowers of Evil?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
It's
Evil?
almost
Ano.
yeah. It's almost always mentioned in the same breath as Goodnight Pun Pun, largely because of the forced rivalry between Asano and Oshimi by fans. They really want them to be rivals.
I feel like they're like best.
I only recently got into Satan when I got into Vinland Saga a year and a half ago.
The Flowers of Evil anime was pretty talked about when it came out because of the just different way it used, because it was like
Rotoscopes.
Just look up Flowers of Evil anime. Just look at
Is it good?
Well, they
I've seen
rotoscoped it, so if you like that.
Rotoscope, that's the word. It's really weird.
Like, is the anime bad? Good?
Probably bad, if I had to guess.
The thing is, the art in Flowers of Evil is really, really great, and they kind of butcher it completely by trying to make it more realistic. I haven't seen the anime though.
And for the record, Flowers of Evil is indeed a shonen, so not a seinen. No excuses now, Poxal.
What's it about?
Coming of age, about guy, likes girl, he's kind of timid. Girl is kind of, well, he gets blackmailed by a domineering girl, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. You can kind of, I think that says everything you need to know about Flowers of Evil.
Is it light shonen or?
Oh, it's light seinen. It's light seinen for sure. It's very similar to Sundome. Like those are usually recommended off the basis of each other.
Yeah.
It's a similar dynamic.
I feel like my problem with Flowers of Evil is that when I think I've told you this, Doofy. I've read it, and I absolutely love it completely, and I remember zero of it right now.
Classic.
I remember one page, which is the panel where they're both on the floor, and there's like this black paint. Like, sort of, I remember that page like super vividly.
Yeah, from
Don't
the
remember
school.
anything else. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I was gripped pretty early on with it. I think those first 3 volumes were probably my favorite of the series because of how uncomfortable it made me feel. It was like I felt very visceral, like reading the way that Nakamura was like blackmailing Seichi, whatever his name is, I forget now. I think it was just smart the way she was doing it. It was clever. She made a show for the audience that was watching. And I think that's what I appreciate the most about this manga. But then it just kind of goes fucking... It gets even crazier after the mountain. And then you get the time skip and blah, blah, blah. Great. I don't know.
I need to get the complete editions and read that.
I need to reread it. It's been a few years at this point now.
Oshimi is really, really easy to read. Like, you can just binge read Oshimi. I've read Happiness like an hour. It's a 5-volume manga.
Yeah.
It's super fast.
Yeah.
It's not 5. It's like 10.
It's 10.
Like,
Yeah.
I didn't read it. So I think. No, I didn't read it in an hour, but I think I let it like maximum 4. like super easy to binge. Most of it barely has any text for a lot of chapters.
Yeah,
Visually beautiful though.
Yeah, Oshimi's like super easy to binge. I so far haven't found a single exception. I mean, even Blood on the Tracks is like water. I mean, Happiness is definitely the standard for easy things to read, but like Flowers of Evil isn't that much of an issue either. Blood on the Tracks certainly isn't. Welcome Back Alice is in a weird spot right now. I feel like I don't know why he insists on doing 2 manga at the same time right now, because it's just like it's obvious both are suffering. Like, I don't know how much of a spoiler this is, but apparently the first like 110 chapters of Blood on the Tracks is a prologue.
Yeah.
Now, when I read that, I almost fucking threw my fist through the screen when I read that, because I thought that manga should have ended like 40 chapters ago. But
I remember like people telling me like, "Oh, the manga's ending. This is gonna end like very soon, and you're gonna be able to read it." And then it was like, "Oh no, never mind, false alarm."
I cannot fucking believe that. When I saw, I almost fucking fainted when I saw prologues ended. I'm like, the goddamn prologue's only ending. I'm like, my guy, you've already been stretching this. Like, can we just? It could have been so good. It could have. I don't think it ever would have beat Flowers of Evil, but it could have been a very close second at a certain point. But now it's just like, it's just a train wreck. Yeah. And Welcome Back, Alice. It actually, I think it started very well. I think it tackles some really interesting questions about sexuality, especially within that kind of Japanese context, and questions about self-identity. I think it was actually very brilliant at the beginning. But now it's just like it lost all direction. Oshimi is just... He's destroying his works because he insists on doing these 2 series at the same time. That's my thesis anyways, because, I mean, 1 chapter of Welcome Back Alice feels like half of a regular weekly chapter, and it's monthly, so it's just like, it's in shambles. Anyways, that's Flowers of Evil. Oshimi is my second favorite mangaka. I absolutely love him. I enjoy all of his works to some capacity, much like Asano. He just has a style. There's this willingness to explore every aspect of a relationship that was noticeably absent in a lot of the rom-coms I started out with. Just the kind of ugliness, the messiness, you know, the sexual aspects, the problems that arise in that aspect. I don't know, I appreciate both Asano and Oshimi for that. To the left of that, 3 Days of Happiness. Is it 3 Days of Happiness? Yeah, it's 3 Days of Happiness. It's just, or I sold my life for 10,000 yen or something. I've yet to read the light novel. I don't want to hear it in the comments. I don't want to hear it. I read this drunk one night, and I was fucking bawling my eyes out at the ending. Okay, it's 12 chapters long. It's great. As the title suggests, it does one of my favorite things that we'll actually come to see when we talk about films, but I like dramas that are set in a realistic setting, but just introduce one little sci-fi element. And here, that's the prospect that you can sell your life for a certain amount of yen. I just think that the new interactions that bring about and the new filter gives you as you do those things, it's very exciting. It opens up more opportunities, and it adds this level of richness to ordinary interactions because he has the prospect that he's going to die soon. The other person just thinks that you're a regular guy. So the kind of dynamic switches up. Now it's different because, of course, the love interest becomes... That's probably a spoiler, I guess. Another type of person. At any rate, it's good.
You know,
Crash likes to call it fucking corny romance, and we're not having that. Today, the Doof Troop is taking a stand against Manga Crash's allegations against 3 Days of Happiness. Okay, we're bringing you to court. This is libel and slander because you've written it and you've spoken it. You may make your case before the jury.
I just want to say that I find it interesting that this is probably the manga that more people are surprised that I don't love. Like, when they see, like, I give it a 7, which is not a bad score. But when people see that, they're like, oh, you didn't give it a 10? Like, I get this conversation really often. More so than, like, Jujutsu Kaisen or like any other big series. It's like this one, they're all like, why isn't this one higher? I don't know, it was okay. I wasn't emotionally invested. That's like the main reason. This manga is one manga where you either are absolutely invested in the story and you bawl your eyes out at the end, or you just don't give a shit and the emotional aspect fails.
Yeah.
And if the emotional aspect of it fails, yeah, you're not gonna be like
Yeah.
you can enjoy it as much.
I'm gonna read the light novel eventually and give it another serious evaluation to see if it merits such a high spot, because this is like top 5, I think, for me, like manga of all time. Or maybe it's like top 7 or 8 or something, but it's quite high. I really was moved. Like I was sobbing. One of the few manga to evoke such a strong reaction. Albeit I had
Because you were drunk.
I was indeed in a position in which there were several drinks within me. So I mean,
reads it and he gives it a 7.
unironically, that could happen. I'm not denying that's possible. I have not reread, no. No, it wasn't blackout drunk, y'all. Like, listen, it was a couple drinks. It was like a comfortable tipsiness, right? But it was enough to
It's a drinks episode. We get to see me drunk, and now we get to talk about you drunk.
Once I was in Mexico, well, I haven't drinking, but once I was in Mexico chilling with my fam, and I had this hotel, and it was like an all-inclusive drink package that we got. So we got, it wasn't just alcoholic drinks, it was normal drinks. And I asked for a root beer. This guy comes back with a jug that's about this big and like that long, full of beer. And he says, "Son," this is my dad, by the way. This is like the waiter. "Son, this is a real man's beer." And he slammed down the table. The beer now like coming over the edges because of that.
funny.
Such a manly man. You know, that's the thing. Like, I've only seen root beer in Portugal in one place, and it's a restaurant. We kind of have a couple of these. It's like the American restaurants, like those typical that you see in movies, like based on like the 50s, a diner, whatever. And we have a couple of them that are like America here, and it has root beers. And I've drank once, and it was one of the most disgusting drinks I've ever drank.
So, Crash, I'm going to tell you the secret about root beer. Root beer is not my favorite drink, by the way. I asked for it because they didn't have Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper is way better.
Yeah, I agree. Dr. Pepper is usually my go-to soda drink. Not my go-to drink, my go-to soda. By the way, I didn't drink the beer, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, so the thing with root beer is it's so brand specific, whether it's good or bad.
I can tell you what brand that was.
There is some brands of root beer that are absolutely gross and disgusting that you should detest. But then there's other brands of root beer that are genuinely really good.
I need to try more then.
How did we get on the topic of root beer?
Anyways,
He was
My
drunk.
drunk story.
all right. We got 3 left. I just found out my guitar is finally out of the repair shop, so to say I'm excited is a bit of an understatement. So I will be indeed ballisting through these next 3. On top of 3 Days of Happiness, we have Beck, which is my second favorite manga of all time. It is just fantastic. It is, to me, the most accurate representation of forming a band and the kind of struggles that go into maintaining that, because there's a certain kind of dynamic that has just arose amongst like instrument-based bands and tensions that arise in the roles of writing, how that can strain pre-established friendships. I think it does a great job exploring all that. It wonderfully displays the politics of the music industry and how fucking corrupt it is. The way that something as minor as like, you know, not fulfilling a favor for like this one guy can ultimately resolve in like, you know, this guy with all these clients being record companies ultimately losing any opportunity at getting a chance with any of those labels. There can be a very systematic, I guess, slope to getting any kind of success. There's different structures that can be put into place to make the most minor successes impossible. But at the end of the day, Beck's very optimistic. It finds a way to get past all these different hurdles. It finds a way to bring these people together and to create a great coming-of-age manga with excellent and well-researched background into music. The manga is especially good because it has all these neat little references to the history of music, which are, sadly, a lot of them are erased from the anime because, you know, we can't nickname the guitar Prudent. I don't remember if it's Prudence or Lucille was BB King's guitar's name, but yeah, they switched it out in the anime because of the copyright behind that. It's just boo copyright. Anyways, that's back. It's also one of the stories that I think I was reading at a really important time in my life, just where I was also thinking about doing music. I mean, it's kind of relevant again now in my life, but yeah, and also another manga to just hit me at an emotional level. There's a certain character that meets an untimely fate near the middle of the end that it hurt, man. That shit hurted. Anyways, that's Beck. It's my second favorite like story of all time. I really love Beck. I don't ever talk about it, but it's wonderful.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I'm not a musician, unlike you, but there is like really something about Beck, because I love music. I love music probably more than I love manga.
Real shit.
And yeah, and there's just like something about Beck that is exactly like about the kind of music that I grew up with, like in my teens, that I just turned to, like that rock, alternative rock, you know, just appeals a lot to me in ways that I really like. Other music manga out there, like PvP is great, Your Line April is great, but Beck, I feel like just because of the genre that he tackles, I like it so much more.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, this is how this podcast has gone. Doofy brings up anime. Crash brings up anime. Doofy or Crash respond and say, "Oh, that's amazing." POXAL, I've never heard of this fiction in my life.
Have you not heard of Beck?
I've never heard of Beck.
It's got an anime.
I feel like Beck is another one of those that was pretty well known in the 2000s, and then when we moved the decade, it just kind of like went a little bit to obscurity.
With me and anime and manga growing up during the 2000s, I would watch what either Netflix had or wherever I could find. I wasn't like a part of the anime community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would just watch whatever looked interesting that I saw. So that might be a piece of it.
Yeah, I guess I feel like when Beck was coming out, it was pretty well known. I feel like among music manga and anime, with the exception of, I guess, K-On! And Your Line April, it's probably the most well known.
Yeah.
It hurts me saying K-On! As a music manga, because I read K-On! And I watched the anime of K-On! Actually.
Nice.
Expecting like a music anime, and it just disappointed me so much. It's not Beck.
No, it's not. I watched K-On! Before I watched Beck, interestingly, so I didn't go into it with any expectations at all, so I was pleasantly surprised. I quite like the music in it. Thought it was fun. Didn't take the
K-On's cute.
Yeah, they didn't take the music too seriously, and I think that's evident in the fact that what was the main girl's name? Yui? Yui was the main girl, right? The guitarist?
Yeah.
The fact that she picks up the guitar and then over the course of the anime becomes like honestly probably a better guitarist than me. I'm like, something suspicious here. Something suspicious. So like obviously they're not worried about that.
Maybe she's just better than you.
Anime. It was a yaoi.
Banana Fish.
Given.
Not Banana Fish. Given. I saw the first episode of Given. From what I heard, it's like they take music really seriously in that one.
Yeah, I think one of my friends has seen it and have said it was pretty all right. Also, I'm turning off my camera because my girlfriend's about to walk through the door.
That's fine. Yeah, I need to check that out then as well.
Yeah. And I can actually knock out these last two really quickly. Pun Pun and No Longer Human, I think I like for the same reasons. They deal with themes of isolation, and they handle them differently. And No Longer Human, particularly the Furuya version, I really do prefer that one to any of the other three adaptations, because I mean, Ito's is really nice because it's really accurate to the manga and to the historical context. But I think Furuya places it in a more modern context that, to me, allows me to better sympathize with Yozoba, as opposed to if he was just like this guy in 1950s Japan. It's a different context that isn't so relatable, even if the themes and issues at hand are. But the thing with No Longer Human is, from the beginning, Oba just experiences this fucking intense feeling of alienation from from his family and his friends. And so kind of from the onset, he had to try and find different ways to deal and cope with that. Initially, it's through laughter and whatnot, but I think very quickly, and what I can appreciate about No Longer Human is just the scope that we trace this one guy's attempt to deal with that feeling of alienation. And that's very much what we get in Pun Pun 2. No Longer Human feels not episodic, but it has 3 distinct parts of his life, and they're quite different, and you can kind of trace the dots between it, but Pun Pun is a much more careful cultivation of that feeling of alienation from those around you, and how that kind of can spiral out. It's much more careful, it's easier to follow in that sense. I think Pun Pun is more interesting on the metaphoric level. You know, why is Pun Pun a bird? You know, this abstract kind of simple entity, as opposed to the rich, detailed characters around him. What do the different forms he take later on mean about how he's feeling? I just think visually Asano's playing with the themes in a much richer way than perhaps Furuya's version. I think Furuya's version thrives in dialogue, but Pun Pun to me is something. It's a visual experience, I think, as much as it is about the concepts at work. So that's like a quick recap as to why I like these two. I do think the reason I like both of them is the same. So I thought I'd mention them in one go. Also, I'm on super blitz mode right now.
I'm kind of excited to get the No Longer Human, the complete edition.
Hell
I
yeah.
feel like for the longest time, if you wanted to read No Longer Human, you had to get these really expensive out of print publications, which I feel like you bought it when they came out, right?
I bought them. They were out for a little bit.
More
2013
But
though. I got them retail.
They weren't like out of print copies. I feel like from
$12
what I've heard,
each.
they can get really expensive now.
Yeah, they were like, you can get the set of them for like $500 or something.
Yeah. So to have a complete edition coming out now, it's gonna be fun to get them and to compare, because I haven't finished No Longer Human, the Ito version, but it's gonna be fun to have like the both of them and kind of reread them.
Yeah.
See how they compare.
Wait, how many volumes No Longer Human?
3.
It's 3.
Okay, so
Like,
the
all
first
of them
one
are
is
like-
only $30.
The vertical release?
I don't know.
Is it red cover?
It has red blood all over it.
Is there like a man in a brown suit in front of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not so bad. I think the
My
second
guess
or
is
the third.
number 2 and 3, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also thankfully gone down a lot. The post-market value
Because
has
we
gone
already
down.
know that there's gonna be.
Exactly, because we're getting the complete omnibus, thankfully. I'm excited to buy that too, actually, when that comes out. I'd like to own all of them, but just 2 of the adaptations aren't even in English, and they're impossible to find online even. I had to scour the internet. Variety Artworks, who you know obviously from Mein Kampf and the Quran, they did a version of No Longer Human 2 that's like, whatever. And then there's this other one that I don't know who published it now, but it was another company like that. It's interesting. It's a lot of takes on this work.
It's probably the most well-known Japanese like book, as far as I'm aware, at least.
Yeah, I think by far. But that's my list. Yay, we did it, and only in 3 hours and 20 minutes.
3 hours and 20
Jesus
minutes!
Christ.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so
Oh
much for
my
watching the
God.
Big 3 podcast. I'm
If you've
surprised.
gotten to this point,
Yeah.
I will say around the end I started getting really tired and like de-energized, and I felt really bad for you, Doofy, because it was right around like your list when it really
Yep. Me too.
it had nothing to do with your list.
No,
Yeah,
I
everything
believe.
was
3 hours in.
right for 3 hours.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Drop a like if you guys made it to this far. Why not? You spent a fourth of your day watching us.
Yeah. Anyways, bye.
Subscribe. Bye.
Yeah.